Who's that?
Amoakohene, is that how? Mike, pay attention to me. Yeah, come on here, so. Mike, that's what I'm saying. You interview one of the students. Now, that's the one try exams, because next Saturday. Is this, I bet you say exams, but this is November, December, I mean, I don't know what you say, paper. Now, I don't know. Mike, why are you doing this? I didn't affect your life.
Yeah. And then
why?
Let me ask you career. And then
why say now so that what about you? It's if you don't cross on my secret, and I say, Mike, they need to help me out because you don't understand the concept of the
banana only obi aging common. Obi say obi ani me faith or they and now do
like and the question be any faith near the dear merci. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to challenge them.
Yeah.
To challenge them.
And they stood by their faith. Young man.
Of course. Yeah. No, I met too much. But see, as I can't remember TV or back room, right? That also come out. You may want back home. Which white in the other. So we say, "I'm going to uniform." Say, "It's a Jumano. Almost a white. There's a man who will party. Or to say what you call Jumano. It's or don't be so white to sign agreement to be over shut out for because no, I'm you don't be so white." But these are they decided because some of the people, it's or yes, I'm in it because one said the appropriate attires for the question and so we in it. But then I come to think of it. So what is the meaning of this? Say it you say also white to question bar and the member of me and Janiana. I never heard it. I mean, people tell me say before
so the Mrana teacher no.
But
yeah.
Men also have been students have a mom when they say just say why so to choice because it's Saturday. And then the BTA be
yeah.
November can the crowns no. Who say this is the situation the problem they say we are not in normal times.
Of
okay?
Course.
We are in party because there's nowhere anybody that in school can school.
Yeah.
I mean, gone are the days, GC, whatever. Near choice on Saturdays. It never happened like that. Saturdays in count. But unfortunately, pandemic, we are not in normal times. Okay? It is a schedule of Basia. I don't know. I don't know. Say, who must have the words of a question of deck in the other? I was shocked. If I admit it, I'm a microphone in the upper. I will not can say, this use GS was a white food, whatever, for the no money in the year.
Yeah.
They are don't there's of it. Yes, some bad credit.
No,
yes, some bad credit.
Almost as less and common penny and Shana and common to me more. Almost friend saying,
but you are not in normal time, so
yeah. Almost quarantine.
Can they adjust themselves? It's almost choice of my body, Anna. Is that what it is? So much choice of my body.
Debbie.
It's not so much. Some fit, so much. And so you be a
sir, or no, ni believe in this. And says, oh, yeah, Juma Saturday.
It's used as why we say, if you want to be a time and I do ready. If you say maybe I'm so ignorant about the whole thing.
Right.
Some more hand over hand. Yes, can do Saturday, don't go to Mana.
One could not so a banner, so one quite a baby were dear.
just say because of Busa say hypocrite say be a prejudice about it's almost of just say yeah nobody is kidding but you won't quite one hey big Mike and the event anyway better than my here because it is a serenity right so Cassata say a 15 16-year-old young man and you continue I mean they're like
I know Nigidium
I don't have problem with it and then there be many problem there but see like I said we are not in normal times second normal times it can happen sada can you not be even control us on Saturday okay pandemic na go forward mu nyina aba right it say be as odide ka tell say be a o do odide into the say o say maxa now so did two say maxa you can do that and walk around and they want someone so at the say it no bit my sir that's which we trust each other what they nyam ya say eti be mo be na here say ba dey have right my friend on tour and that's also me say me here say ba ku bi and then be could do it kakra pa ba o move out utie na no woka ada ewe women e before man dey obo ya good pa
for man in your good.
I don't know. I think they will come and help me out here. This is a discrimination near Mamokeka. Someone can say no Ghana. We die. Me say Obaya the kai of her life radio. Also nipa bia ye. No who ni ya also nipa ni ye. We are say ba. So who nipa ni ya. Nipa bia I think I think say don't know. Obia on the dof we are say ba. Oh this yet your well. Yet me nipa ko bi say nipa bi so omo de e grandma for my de good. What are the scientific the just somebody can answer they even we use somebody can and I say about for that can ato it be e ka say mai
e bi na man for na can ato
e maybe also for ko can say beduko bi so kaya o ka say omo mane de omo ti say don match today something dey cause organa. But see, I say categorize say what dear pass up to me who say me here say Mike before say and that's why say so kind of it just happening Obia good if you ask no Obia good well should be here tell the people go be into around back say this particular people you can't do that what mean this
no
correct put we can say and I'm going for my W and then be the person worry and I say it is so big can no send a message but me of I can say I'm going to be person worry about one and anybody I mean it was so chances on top now of a catch go here Bruni Bana said no to know here so now because what is this for my date you know about go I mean this is around nonsense I don't get it Mike well for so you to different tribes they cut you toss you na obia ye one who dey buy and medical care one who dey pay house in the pan here etien jai o my team na ya koka say and o ma do me say and who say dey bia o say ka dey am for dem do ka o hu so nusa say ka dey be na ko ka say we am different thing there ka go dey be so kana ye ka say omo ye good in there we said obi ada no bia ka we ana me bua say ko ka different na ka mo take me beteza ye beteza again and as we so who bia no much struggle you be payment bi wo Ghana Accra e ko bia it's essentially etie wi honum e ko kwade interchange yo west Canadians now the can say west omo free Kakatwan and omo free Taiwan and omo free friends they can say crap
was street wars be no
for not next Ghanaians now we say not there so omo free budum friends but kina why make a crime crime omo free Dominican Republic and omo free Venezuela
na me sure say registration mu na manfo ka say west are not Ghanaians obi anu work cancer you cannot mix Togolese with the Ewes
yeah Mike
Nana
former president And I started to get sense away, sir. Say, he says, another Danko Kufado. I go for military men. So you for a good voter region. I'm going to for every show with the. It was almost something they Ghana for. Wow. See how you tell me when I say we notness. When the show be neck, when now back we see me with someone what I want to because yes, be a happy power of say. What you say, Obiabe report to say, Wako police station, maybe I'm not true, no, no, electoral commission for us on your can and what is out in this house of because it is NDC 42 net, Sadia Tomano. Say, I will say before a year, I was for me, one like I say, I was for the Ghana for.
That's the question. That's a summer make.
Let's have one because to Yakoso about for the Biamosoya, and I wonder, we will some no, just say, a yet time. The Association of Uganda, Civil Society for Peace Council, or when there's had equal so be a cashy. Near Canisa, what is and another Danko Kufado on per se, before the Chumudi, or some of the Ghana for, almost of the Ghana for.
And no, Chika, some you saw the penim or penny penim animonium, and so now a drop and wood. So,
and not necessarily. When Nakasa not necessarily not Ghanaians, when the Casa, we have a not know who is the vice president of the Republic of Ghana.
Exactly.
So why are you guys telling us? We have defense minister, he's a notner. Interior minister, he's a notner. Local government minister, she's a notner. So what are you guys talking about? About His Excellency Amenado Danko Akufo-Addo as the president of Ghana, no? Or no better can visa, and as we do visa. And according to the people who fish and not put them in these places, such high position like this.
Yeah.
Talking about defense, talking about interior, local government. Hey, 80 say Mike, open coalition and also opposition party, political party. Now the messenger. These are the kind of Nema we use. So that is there. Such interior friends and cry. What kind of you better make me how this usual on Supreme Court. You know, these are the type of Trump bigotry amount for you use all the time. No one control go and say, where's Acadians? And then they use something say he says another Danko Akufo-Addo is what? Almost I can be fan. Say there's one person just will be or Adolf Hitler crowd. The team see right. Sir, and nobody now. Yes, sir. MY as of my and the papa is
and nothing and I may do go old school no because so a man for be person better or man penny din cry. A person better or man penny din cry. And so who cost rubber form on one year president.
That's right. What was that? There be a car and a man for CBA. You be another but one particular place we share the way I'm trauma any idea can no wait me great as I can say the pattern we are first trauma a show clear say I say party be there they hate the party. Let me use that word hate HAT like one person better party didn't cry to the extent say when on my penny the Kufo no they health insurance
yeah
they been what you can say so Kufo the insurance by the ain't got GB hey identity na ya bo wa bende
just say MPP me na say MPP for and a deba into onko GB can you imagine
this show how such hatred they said Pakumwa against that party say I don't know say who brainwash the past and the petty me have that kind of hatred and what the pemu and the didn't say the say be maybe a normal fair be any perfect. Oh, so this is the country we found ourselves and the association Sahara the bin sorry and never fatter. Oh, President Mike. If we can see we are biased because we need to go back. We need sir. President wa bomb Mike and the Moa. Menya na biko. Endro abitie omo ye in charge about one issue one factory. Some of the never go kwa for the first term as a president in the history of Ghana. ABC that come back when it comes to factories that this president are I'm not worker based on their data I get out. Our factories are all cost of mind and the never no can say and their factories kitwa. Within 3.5 to 4 years, President T-Buy. President Kasanso. I am not just saying, but my mama at some phone call, because we are going to see a nurse to be as out. I think I am dependent. I don't like me one. Yeah, why are not to be as but the President T-Buy was it the whole country Ghana? This is the president that you don't know, Kasa, or say I believe in the Ghanaian. Or the Ghana need to get a debate my it was so bad. Or better I think I could be an opportunity. So better to us also there. And it touching a pastor so by no, or my bum. I'm a net out for Niaji. I just obey for Banqua and within the trust Adby. Said also for the kind, and I'm like, I just obey for Banqua when he's so this is the president of our party, just say. Of the whole country, regardless we don't want you, so I tell you, President another time go for and say, hey, but the message all is getting out of Amoakohene squad, all is getting out of the bed Kitiamba. Now, President JB, they're not meaning the open. Yeah, for my someone tonche. Yeah, Pekana Kako ye said that Ghana, ever found it to my preference.
That's right.
It's that is all we are out. Yeah, pass our mind a bit more to a 2 pound. Alas, Joe is Bekai, or my penny, how are my penny da, Mike, or my penny data, I would need better. Commander in Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And then I would need now ultimate Kojina, I remember Ketikratse precisely. Eka say, Nanado Dankwa Kufuor Person talk to Ghana International Airport.
Wow.
And dear man, your cell phone can say, no, Yanisa. You know better as
a
former president.
Yeah.
Oh, the Musa Casabi, the film, the cocker kayo, took on a minimum, or Manipuaman with a cocker says to Graka. You're holding this on the pattern. Can't it be Piazza? As some young okay, granny is neither here nor just a young could do a crowd, my penny parliament to come and discussing what's up. But this man had opportunity. I go look at the catch. No gratis interview. No, I can't go from Mamusa because I'm an say propaganda. So what I can say, and I somebody the office so many presenter. I would and 20 to 20 be say, Tono, who can try this? Not in the crack, I tell not what can try this. Sabe Pepe. Oh, just a open so bit, just a Chichina, and so with you, Sabidia, a man discipline. And they say, and Trona Becca check out of Fusi de Becca Crana, Chichinachi, and so with your minus. And then when I was Shensamba, Mike, you ever showed the and I'm not a castle of Bokram over Mammy. Shensamba, entity for Kikai from head to toe. Shensamba.
Oh, Ofosuhene.
Mike.
Now, so the serve voice in the Sunday.
Made it brown. Oh, it's Facebook Messenger.
Oh, really?
And so,
Mammy has a main one. Like I am a tear for
the other one up with the commander Biana Mesero, Napa Mammy, me amount for tea. And somewhere, entity for any debasy, and the basic, and the moon comes straight to me. Back when I answer the agent show up you, if you name. Because a bass of ya, me grab me as a pair from Miss Hope you that. If you say to me, sit down over 8. And so the mark we no can say. And I talk about someone to the English. 18 almost to the home of exercise. And they almost to the and Bonibians.
That's right.
It is a Casano Casano. Now I don't know who I just said, we did the day, a dragon of Faso, a Kikadian, and a crony better than able to, hey, yeah, pray, and you know, time with you, and even the midst of pandemic, and I say, oh, you mamma penida, and then let your commission for that kabum, a person could get for, and then remember, pandemic, you a ye coronavirus, and also go spend the Paco Boss Soccer shooting. Sure, Mike, and then. Omampani dada. Ebi also kusia a Christopher as of for. Na emi ngwa say mai Ghana for so John Ghana for who. If you say so mutu amuka isi ya. Ma me so we nya chance ahwe bia. Eni pa etu adi achi amunse max ekeka boss say sardine. I don't know. Say me nim the person say why are you doing this to the good people? Under Ghana over so Ghana for sir.
Yeah.
This is not a time our penny that wouldn't say you need your pandemic work. You are really quite echo. And I know obey actually. But no nam such as some of the way campaign. If you say over some mobile. Now the running meeting no. Okay, some I say minimum say Ghana not in the media. Mamma minimum. And I'm like minimum say Ghana Ghana media. I said the Ghana no Ghana be.
Na amwani so no amo pese na wonya so se nkrofo pese nke jatom e wo man no
na ejatom awu ho beto o man na pese o betra so na odi so no se jatom where are you going to find yourself?
That's right.
So to who say enu bi yeah tabo no already so a also bu fo dim so be hu aduati a ko hu yi so do za.
Oh yeah.
Obufo odimuso be hu aduati ko hu ye. Se former president John Dramani Mahama ni NDC for. So when we say free city high school be say ya, em say come support pa but they march. Me know some for a video ni be am. They were marching say free SHS 419. Free what was that video no? I just now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Na maybe sasa sanko for no. Omo da so Ghana ho ana say wetu kwan.
I didn't penny forecast of before so who had to check who ye, the nadia, the other not quite by who ye no. Would also barber review. Then, and quite natural, and quite also to see the Sabino. It's not another not go for a bay, ye, the head of barber review, Mr. Reviewer. Who don't think they are Uber review. Teacher trade allowance and next trade allowances about maintaining. I know a Mr. Penny Force and Quantua. I don't see the Sabino. Because only club ya only who matching.
Ofosuhene.
Mike.
Mama mo ayi no ma amanfo.
Joe wadama. Without
Joe Wise and so join na afi.
Farewell.
Ofosuhene who say what they call UN or they about on 7 days December na yen to and call they call UN. Nipa mi ensabi.
Ofosuhene what take is it tonga?
Debut. So you tell me what Skype on bass I mean I ask me the phone.
I have phone bra.
Yeah. Because it's so bad we be a gram.
I say nyamre na yetimi hear Skype.
It yeah because you know Eric can say bibi ndo em say ezi nyamre na Eric yes.
Okay, nana mayema adofo ntie NDC for ensem ni bi.
Very well.
Yeah. Suzuza.
Me say, omu Ghana from playing register for you. Mark it on the wall. Kwaku. Register na won hand the betwala. Me say what's cry limited register.
Ghana for.
Me say register na won eye papa. Aye the betwala. Yen change register na change ni tra.
There will be no new register in this country.
What do you mean by that?
Me say there will be no new register in the Republic of Ghana for 2020 election. Me na make actually say 2020 abana ye kotono. Enye register for front here. Enye register na wo na.
That race is here. Inti Electoral Commission omuntu me register bia for 2020 election.
Omuntu me nye.
Obi take me net. So if I
Asempa FM.
The Electoral Commission to me a new register for 2020 election. Asempa FM. Mamu mami mahabio.
Hey broja. Asempa na wakana sana.
I am telling you, there will be no new voters register for 2020 election. The earlier the EC accepts it.
Yeah, what is school back up? What me manage school? What free Ireland and a Batista school? Yeah, what me manage school in a woo, you know. What don't have people for Kofano and also lead the political parties be. Tomorrow, I know my press conference. Ye pe new register. Obi bien obi timaya new register Wagana. Obi bien ho. na omo dia omo kasa ya ba ya monya dia mo pesa mo ye no monya hwe. They are testing waters. They are what? They are testing waters. They are testing waters. But we are sending a signal to them. We are warning them today. Say, Ghana is not ready for new register. Ghana ain't ready for new register. Register na de Mahama buy 2012 no. Register de na do buy 2016 no. Sa register na de 2020. Ni yakana muntie, yakana muntie, yakana muntia. Ghana cha Kenya. Ghana cha Egypt. Ghana cha Sudan. Ghana cha Liberia. Ghana cha Rwanda. And Ghana cha Sierra Leone. Meka hu aka wo biem. Omo nyina no, omo ye nipa. Meteme ho ase. And the sakasaka ye den. Eba. Ade ba ko a wo kwa akwa ye no. Wo ma omo support wo imanifo ane aide kodiofoɔ CDD4 ye omo support wo ma ye new register including Gabi Wachidako ye omo support wo ma ye new register biometric register in 2012 no so
absolutely, I'm not going to prevent anybody, but nobody's not going to register. Then I told you, I said, I said, why are you telling me this? And then look and say, are you telling me, sir? Because the NDC for Nyama. And it's only one elected. You want the NPP says, so I urge the message. Make the message was said. Make on the show. 1 year very say on a simple FM. They can never or man force they will fail. Open will be bodate in the tour. They will fail. They will fail. This can me say Kadian Kadi Subaino. Me say they will fail. You look one of the limited registration using online system or moderate offices. Omanka say IT express and IT express or master the advice and which now Omanka so independent. They can't even as Omuka munti. Omoko ye meeting say Yakazo munti. Your Maka no mope. Omavili. They will fail. And me catch one now with you and they say, Mobiaba Mumu. When they entrain your patapa. There is no way that this wasteful and needless attempt to compile a new register will survive it. I'm telling you. Sir, on the way. Within 40 days, actually trading or the cluster system, Juma protocols to fight COVID-19. Or the science saying, at the big so they are trading, meaning the EC is going ahead with the new voters register. What do you make of the outcome? CJ Lewis. Mindy Lewis. And it is just and 28. The studio ma producer Chiku and fan side baby mouth. Say new voters registered here you are. You started last week of June. In C. And Maso. And yet possible to Samuel. Yes. When the family is in America, and it will be in it, you know. Say, Embassy, new voters register, Embassy. They are confused. I am telling you today, it's easy for all. Over the Ghana dancing, Ghana assume Ghana Kadimani Kedin, over the Tuato Tre, over the Diabro, over the Potaka. They are confused. The Omoya against work. Now, why would I just rather say we have the one Ghana about from
in Ghana about to one say Asia. When the liberals are fucking good story with. Yeah, there's nothing new voters registered last week of June. And it was here. Over the government can specific date. Last week of June, they did.
If I told me you're not my wife.
In this fourth republic since 92 CG. Yeah, but the proper in December. 7 December.
Obi the phone on my Obi phone yesterday.
Two names that we already have in the data. The data has about 18 million people who are eligible to vote. Whatever they want to do, whether they want to improve the biometric device, whether they want to do facial recognition, you don't need to do any new registration. You can use the same data to do all those things. So we want to thank you for your smart turnout and to say that if we want to protect the peace and tranquility of this country in an election year, you don't embark on an exercise which will generate controversy and bring conflict and tension into the country. We are calling on civil society organizations, religious authorities, moral society, our traditional leaders, and everybody to say no to the new register, to save Ghana and big Ghana peace. Thank you and God bless you.
Ofosuhene San Frebium.
No such advice has come beyond the fact that we should all.
Utie tape we a ema bibia nkyerɛ sɛ NDC ɛna wɔ n'anim agu ase Ofosuhene San Frebra why Mr. Mano sɛ na dede wɔ w'akyi paa nti
Amano na dede sa
Mr. Mano
Amano na dede sa
Mr. Mano my baako ba so Mr. Mano me pa jo wobetumi asan afrɛ na ya na de phone at mute amai yo nana nkrofo ya semi nkrofo ya semi ya omo ya se na mo date ngudan ho mo studio ya ma obiem we se mo nchare masu
oh my no uti do so for kikam
ai over some of elder Pentecost elder mo ma sorry ba no ma sorry ba no 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 so ma ya ni magu asesa now, all that Ghana food now that Kokoro ya for only serious.
Yeah. Ghana food now. Thirty-three some share. 3 someone who run someone on way. But cool, I was hidden in some of both tables. Yeah. The two. See, these are the people we are talking about. Oh, just say, would you want to ask that concern some who are Ghana for and the best in Mugabe? Mugabe is Ghana and Kenya. Ghana and Kenya na pampa. So say, who's that go care who get to Ghana man?
Yeah.
Say Ghana and Kenya, Ghana and Liberia, Ghana and what do you mean by that?
Ghana and Sudan.
Ghana and Rwanda. They do umpa. See that young man, what time Ghana?
Na san krofo yin na san ke omo arrest him. Esa ye do omo ko jail. Omo kika sam unim say sam na omo kika gu from amusa no. Ebetuma akoso war in the country.
Right. But see, they're dangerous. So, of the general secretary, some of the Supreme Court. Every jump on this has somebody Supreme Court say, who gets old register, wait with the control game. Do you know what this can cost? Some come up for point, I'm quite a year, you know, claim care is written down. That's what kind of thing they be. I will be one of the continent the guys will say, yeah, or to say, go, we are one. This might came. Just say, I simply see a problem job saying, yeah, what my life is going to no, but can't project and I'm also over the Guna. You got a master of the corner, you got a got to say, over to the old professor in Aquaco register. Do you know, just a month for electrical Ghana funds before I can someone confirm to this in a contract. Now, can you probably do a princess nom the corner here and yeah. Yeah, that is a bit of a character. And this man just said this, and then walk free. No, I'm gonna not have triumph here. And you heard it. Actually, will be such a mosquito like that. Will be a drink and answer. Or come on the wedding. This is a country fan ourselves. So, penny, total, sir, it's me, I could now say, near had the time on the call. I do okay, give it to me the name powder back. Oh, those reasons, as we are negotiating. Because, okay, they, you don't kind of say, witch hunting. The government of the day. But see, who never retire hunting? Who never president get you're not going to hunt you. because I do kind of. My good idea, Mr. Anna for some tea. He on the top of the train. And my son, my sister, we let them kind of so much and probably. Now be moving as a pair of whom one is on one. You know, so I think the 2,000 of Papa. That's what they did. Yeah. But he can't do as a couple of days. But who cried there be a mono, or so okay, getting the bar, my gate, young casket, young son. I want to over down, that's a great son. Would you are cast by you to dinner, yes, Sunday, as a case son. Oh, then it was a better way, it was the best time. Who Casa Watras, I said you, Casa Jimmy Casa. It's like, who tell me across with that? Just omni as in the act. And they, electoral committee for the dinner baby yet, almost is almost provisional of the upper. Yeah, chance on baby only in idea who you could see because, yeah, shout there. And so far, no. So far, we can just total registered 16 million 963,306. It's almost abnormal. Any part of 2,000 challenge and then I'm going to be a multiple registration.
Right.
And roughly, we are in a better form 50.9, but it's a better form because obviously, anybody in the area about it. Then we have to say, when they call about another, what you almost say. We say, I was saying, I mean, game for the crash, say, I'm not going to across the financial of the state because then we have the way you register also. But, and it's wrong, and I mean, say, and as a work, you say, save you, I mean, the same customer, I can say, they are coming out. But, see, yeah, but yeah, 2019, net register about 16,845,000 something, 16.8, right? So here, now you register. And before there's no about 800,000, electoral committee for another review. I am confirmed. Yes, some year, a month for challenge you among we have multiple registration. And the 800,000, and now, there was 16.8 as of 2019. It's a correct limited registration. Electoral committee worker say, yes, I mean, this of 2 million have account. The man could do 2 million, 32.8 over everything. Now, also the 800 account of everything. We're talking about 19 point something registered can never call 2020 elections. We're talking about a hooping of 3 point something million account. The end is for the some cat and so Omomat Nenyo say the day I don't know. But the electoral commission weird over you won't be in Ghana. 16.9 every time upon. And these are going to be the year they call 2020 elections.
Yo.
It's almost what somebody.
All right. Nana, Mame fa, Amianum dinner. Yeah. Na you best say about so. Nana yo, Amoakohene Ofosuhene, and I'm what's in Ken. Me wa Kizito, Joe Wise, and I feel Docas Bimpo, or Musunyana, line so. Na enche, Yane Atta Kennedy, Yane Dr. Atta Kennedy, Ebedi Enkomo, enti Mamin Kofa, Uncle Kizito, no we are not Joe Wise, and Sana Makofa, Dr. Kennedy. Enti Kizito, Otimenka. Hello, Kizito.
Yeah, Mike.
Yamuakwa Banyumre.
Joseph, Mike.
Abrabona today.
Amenado.
Yo, Kizito, Anyumre. And come my day, what? A fast.
And I'm Mike, you to ask us stand down, is that it?
And a bizarre. So, no, I can
say. What is everything okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
The whole day, my dad's
hey.
So, Mike, I'm going to you.
Yeah, Joseph.
I mean, I don't have to say Ghana 2016 we in another mine. Now, I painted idiot. I mean, you won't through one. And because I have a woman painting car, I will bring book. And so, many. Now, one more can and from China. And I said, well, you need register, ma'am. Munye me sure. Well, you register for pra. Munye way, and I mean, master and pebble. Yes, sure. Then come out, can won't be this one. Now, ɛda boja jɛnti bɛtumi asi asɛmpa bi a ɛbɛfa so ɛbɛfrɛ no ɛbɛfrɛ no so onim na entertain boja jɛnti wɔ asɛmpa ne yɛn ho baabi a ɔno nso gyina because register na yɛkɔ kyerɛ edin na yɛkɔ kyerɛ no mo director of elections edi kan bɛka ɛ ɔkɔ oh when
Mike, they will tell you about L.
One director of elections. Ono no bebe kan say. And this woman would in one fight easy. Because woman here not easy to me your register no. Woman we are no. Director of elections too. Every answer. Ono no be kan. Ono no be kan asem. Nti ni say dey no hu ye. Enti na all kasa no. Mike. Register na ye no. Te say no. Te say na no disule. Only connection there wo mu. Ano disule only connection there wo mu.
Yeah.
SCL phone so ni connection there wo mu.
Ni nyina akọ.
Nyama NDC phone ya brenu no. Nyama NDC phone ya brenu no.
Omo abokagu.
Who say nkrofo na wokofa won Ivory Coast ni Togo ni aden. Who say omo church odin ma won.
Oh yeah.
You tell kape ni ama odin no na ya tell police station kwa wo de beko. Na nyame ncha de ye ni ni sa tricks ni nyina nti ye mampani po asote ye. Ewu phone na wo register ni mu no na ama bisule. A transfer one say ewu phone na ko ba bi na okwa ade wa chi odin no de ama obi otiase no fi outside no de abase on register. It is uncle for when you be chill, papa, and this war. And to something now, we will not come here, and then we will below. Now we are registration officer, easy official. This will be the general himself and Quadoqua, no what you need. Some or easy a staff no. That's what prosecute women now.
And then no crack.
Prosecute women now.
Yeah. Omo no more sa area.
Your criteria you dey yes as registration. Yes will be ba. Na obo ba bi ofi na house number way and I say nipa me nu ba embe ba chimana. Enti kwan ben wo fa so a wo ba ya obi se open kwaku a uto redi.
Yeah.
We register.
Yeah, wutimi accept here.
I will accept here. I say nyame adom na custom free, immigration free.
And I will
intercept team one call ya. Not the 2020 or the Baba because of the banner when you didn't register Kwaku. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? And then you put the Abano, Mike, Mike, hugging.
Yeah.
Oh, no more champagne in Forno. Make I 96 by start any pool. Yeah, the teacher for next start first. 95, 96, 97, teacher for near there. I didn't call him pepe. Oh, I'm a bibia, ya kama. After every baby, no. Now confirm he said allowance kakra was a human.
Yeah.
10 minutes of health and yes, Edman. 2 years. Oh, and I'm never know I secondary school. And the part of Monfano, maybe I go university. Monfano, thank you for them. I didn't say you. And your man is saying it's a Mike. Immunization, your co-villager, your population, and your quantity identify and Qualanoa. Near the vaccines in the amount. Now, Oko. Unum as uncle for secondary school for university for nearby, Unum.
Then, oh, yeah.
Vaccines in the man. Ya sound say kosa village ya okono okoye ni pa be 5 6 year na wa pon owi a na vaccines na aka no wa mark paper no so say wa ye nkofu.
Wow, me wa so onye
Mike me say
Other Africa, nipa bi mo where life and death issue.
Yes. Oh, it's a good idea. Mike, not a many break.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. So, and I'm also, let me see. As you may say, yes, you are now copying Tama.
Yeah.
Tana Baba Famo. It's only anything. Also, and for one of our woman also, Catabia, by a sister something, I am in the area. Okay, yes, uncle. They are poor one in a came, Mike.
Who could do what?
Who could do one more? You call house to house. So, yeah, underground work and answer a woman, house to house. I may have all banner. I said, there be you. Now, baby, sounds messy. Now, how am I? So, I had it, yeah, but I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking, Nipper, I'll mark Maki, Fire course at Nippay, baby, I'll call him. Nipper now, one mark registered in Fire call round. Mike. And yeah, it do baby, now I know for 7 minutes, Timmy Eddy. It's an icon on Wokan, me too, Yaddy. I'm in Pensy. Mike, my police chief, our boys in now. Nana Junumanda. One mamma, one papa, no acquire and so for her, no acquire you. Now, so for a family, or cano, mention your name now. I am more friend, Mr. Sophie. Now, what's up on Calvert Castle in a watch more friend, and oh, most and mention your name, my dear Mopé, yeah. For us, you will be one mark into Sophie. Oh, I saw him no yet, Massa, a bear with it. Entin kwara na eba no sa school na NDC tee no ene na access ankwara ha no one say Professor Jane na no pokwa adma say na no ayedin so wako school ni bi wako NDC school ni bi ono do ye professor nto du ha syllabus no the manner owe ne babasa into full platform na ense ma ewu atwam nyina no oka so nhwe na chi na ayon to no wo na joma ama na odi na chi no so odi na nimo so odi na chi o joma ama odi na nima trouble odi na chi a trouble nti on hwe na se ni nchemu no obedi a na on pe no be bi ntina na se no ma no ko no ndi si fo ehunu na wo mo ye na ye ko UN na UN fo mra na abato na basabasa ye besi basabasa bi en si Mike me say ndi fo ye attempt so on be basabasa wo mamma me say won ankasa o ma no wo mutumi ntinemu me say Rollins kwa apa o machi ndi si fo mo ye waju o so for some of crowd for some of the matches alaka crowd pra who for some of you na no I want to say them 2008 na kwa crowd do MPP ani emrant and one man and one man and no room abani ekoto you do so mo lu obi antumi yes wo man no Sanko for na mako trip on na mudu won be guru ayi abiko sibi ayi na mo chance wo bo mbebe mu no won ba wo mu tin na eshi o kowa na se wo yo mamba papa se bi so e Ghana ni pa nke e be to aba no akwa akosi sa abiko fo ene Burkina Faso fo se wo mra Ghana mbeturo wondi won ko to aba. Come on. Mike, na me sre. Oma penyi dada. Every say na no na onhwe ni we no mo break. O say dan asofo nye dan. Asofo nkasa freely. Na ya oma penyi dada. Ebra 2012. Omani wa de yeso wakotwa photo bi wo Nigeria o ne girl bi koda akotwa photo Nigeria omani wa de fi abochire oko odu airport no omo ye ne dan on de na nanu na nkasa free joma ama onto nubu na bibi jije no na Ghana membu pa se ye de be sa hye joma ama sasa abiri we mu de enye no kure opa on hye Ghana man no na ɔse na ɔno nso ntumi nkɔtena baabi a dɔmaama aba ne yɛbɛkɔ akɔto edu hɔ na wulu nso a ɔnso wɔlu nso yɛ mma dɔmaama kwan na ɔmɛsɛ Ghana o Ghana nyɛ dɔmaama de a Ghana ɛnyɛ dɔmaama de a sɛ yɛsi yɛkyekyɛ Ghana na obiara afa ne kyɛfa de a anka Nana Akufo-Addo na ɔwɔ kyɛfa kɛse n'abusuafoɔ mmiɛnsa ɔsɛ nnan nti wɔkyekyɛ obiara bɛgye ne deɛ ayɛ sɛ wakɔpo no waba na wokyɛ di nam no wɔ mpoano hɔ no wɔyere no dɔɔso a wona ɔnyɛ bebree because ɔbaa biara bɛgye ne nam
ɛne saa yo Kizito yɛbɛdɔ yɛna fasi
monka nkyɛ dɔmaama sɛ ɔnto no bo na saa me gya mfi dwunso kurobo na ɔkɔ secondary school dwunso kɛkɛ so no ɛnɛ NDC party nti ɔno bɛgyina bɛdi mpanimfoɔ atam wɔ Ghana ɔnkɔ so
na Kizito ɔyɛ sɛ ɔde sɛ na ɔsɛ ɔde kɛn kɔma CID fo ɛno esi sɛn
ɔde kɛn kɔma wan CID fo na ɔsɛ wɔyɛ useless na ɔba ɔwɔ da ɔbɛba na ɔbɛpam wɔ nyinaa no ɔde wɔn kɔma nso ɔnyɛ den ɛnyɛ ɔno ɔsɛ ɔbɛyi sogyafoɔ no polisifoɔ adi no ɔnyɛ wɔn deɛ
na
dafɛ de wɔn nyɛ kɔ hɔ ɔno ɔkasa
ɛno a first lady kɔ ayi government ɔno ɔmo kɔ ɛna ni bɔnti wɔ ɔmo government ɛkɔmɔ ɔmo nneɛma fɔ ɔmo wɔ ɛni bɔnti
ne ayi bɔnti
no ɔna because nso ɔka sɛ president Akufo-Addo bɛyɛ president agorɔ ɔmo tu na deɛ ɔmo ni bi
ọsọ obeyi nù n'ase mpaboa
ọsọ obeyi n'ase
mpaboa n'ọnụ na-adị baako ya mme ya ni sẹ ọya aka ha sọ folk ọya phobia ẹnu si na ya edu beebi ya
o yẹ phobia
Kizito adịra ya na phobia dị pa ya na-ede 9 players ṣiṣẹ kọtọkọ 11 players Kumasi no so wunni mu a
Kizito jai
mesi koko bi sa 1975. Yeah, the prestigious team. 11 players.
The most prestigious team in Ghana.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Kotoko. Na Kotoko kwa bo tiriba ya. What you want 5 naira okay push no. Kotoko. Enti wa kwa bo tiriba de nu. Kwaboti be dey nu won buy drugs at 1.5 mil.
You need to your phobia until the bones are rotten.
Hey, and then I chapter na yes sir. Na say chapter 19 pa yes sorry. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ghana had the cool. Well, you know, ended the forest.
Give it to Edward Pablo. So I did you take a danger. And what will be
I have 5 days that I want to 5 rooms. Maybe I was a candy, I know a formal ticket. Almost a candy, I know about Kotoko.
Where the 3,000 come? Who come up in the Badiana?
Sure.
Prestigious team in Ghana says, I can't see them. Team the club in Ghana.
And you got to yes, one what did you do? A class for stadium 9 million.
Oh, I can't go. I can't. I have to go to food and a coffee to qualify.
Americano,
I see.
For 10 years on for Canada. Okoka Hubi. 10 years on for Canada. Oh, yeah. Or but Tuesday vote. I don't post political about Wednesday. Or but Tuesday, I don't post political about Wednesday. And no, I don't know. Where's Mama back?
I must say Ghana football. Not Ghana football first. Oh, no,
Kizito, you better ask.
Mate.
It has power on ya. But your mammy got Joe or Sewusu. Make over Joe Weiss. Nah.
And Mike, who are Kotokara?
And our But they said that me a Diana Stars.
Oh, da. Oh, man, that's the problem.
Sure. Say, yeah, whoop your mom for panya.
And I said, I don't know, but I can't be in that. Oh, can I show on first go? I want to question what. And maybe you move. Everybody know I'm going to that room. That I'm not the ball back open. I
want to be with say. I want to be United.
I
want to be United. And the kind of
United for some about you. Okay, United.
Mama, Joe Wise. Joe.
Yo, yeah, me cheer for you now. Me check it in Ofosuhene so. Yeah, my boy Juma. Mini, I who NDC my politics here or Ghana and a thing because it is say thought process no him say a breed of people are almost him fan about Ghana. It say politics cry Ghana ni Ghana a thing. We take our boy yao. And some amount for kind. Ene ye bani we ya while my son jumping. Control Mudin, and yes, Sanko, some kind no be answering it. Oh, yeah, trouble we yay, I shan't ready and swat. Oh, again, people phone work for Manco register. Voter register no crana, numbers net by no. The same thing and you never hona and one yes saying ya and you mamena cause of financial loss to the state. How no one
yes, it's Amoakohene.
No one say no what jump is first equation first as no kind I wasn't car or be patch on who say men am say didn't cry and try my subium may after Trinian Ghana for them Mr. Mumfa born in Chem near move on cram on patch. No asambe tufu fratum and the Mahamanam say culture of silenceness abagana Onoakushia and him for ne clergymen say culture of silenceness abagana and a man for friend if you know my friend say Mahaman can be a him fool or say oh a him for no friend or no Mahamano not age I saw for our friend no Mahama say on Kabi Emma Omonasisia de Ghana no ubi anywhere utimi kanasem.
Wow.
Meanwhile, so now ye and Mahama nan and about Miako can asem no catching so no unfin so no ni president that to ni who can say over can asem. Now on no the link of 4 to 4 BTP almost the president that Ultimate court no akwa Ashanti region or ko no akwa so Ashanti region from omanin swadie no the good cry kwan cry ma omo cry na omo appreciate simply because Kumasi for akokase omo kwanye and Mahama Kennedy Japan ko kan sem ne ache no and Mahama let my vote count ne akodi achi obi ne abono ne ni kra abo nan say ya na sa guy no kra omo si wewu ne ni abo gabi ochi da ko ne achi omu nyina and Mahama ene ono no aba no asai wa be kan sem wa on fa evidence bia ma o be kan sem wa no anso aka ne tra ubisa say where is the evidence I know adwane no call the next no akọ make another claim I said unketia no akọ courtroom judge Supreme Court farmer judgment hwa no a jump no aba Supreme Court says you ultimate the old register old voter ID no call register ono any sa some o kan so enye sa Supreme Court the international one am say ninti Supreme Court judgment cry no kwa be ba me nyina ya kan bi ninti say IPAC meeting or call ya hono no ninti da bia on be call IPAC meeting bi on be ba no esro ne NDC ka and esro ne MPP.
All right, Joe Wise
me wa
where the water Roma messing about so
in just
few minutes I'm say Dr. Atta Kennedy Abba Ahumane so na yene no just 30 minutes discussion Into we are na
also
ya yo enti we the wadaroma enye say me chaos.
No, it's me. Oh, at Kennedy, me aminipa.
Oh, okay. Dog, me pacho ya mwakwaba.
Mejodo.
Bibia boko.
We say funa so ma nurses. Bibia boko friend COVID na healthcare nti oya na wa ma sise juma wa sakaka.
No correct.
No correct. Ma bodu fi.
Yo, ye na tiefo ye ma obi ajo mamo akwaba bia mu say anwumrei ye ka say ye ne Dr. Atta Kennedy ebedi nkomo kakra afa kodiewu COVID and somewhere abeto amansan komu enra menya message free doctor ho na o kire bibi say COVID test no ye wo mu different enu nti se ba ne say wo be ye test no a ese so timi bisa o doctor ne what kind of test wo be hia enu nti na ebe ye na aboa yen say ye benya doctor ene na wabɛkyerɛ mu kakra na atiefo nso atimi ahunu because say ade na enkoyo asɛ amanfo ani nasobet ɛwɔ hɔ pa ɛno nti sabre ya yensa aka doctor yi na nea ye bisa ene sɛ dog say COVID no ɛte sɛ still no ɛta hɔ sɛ na ɛba first no anasɛ ekofom kakra
otaho but asema eka first na maminya no na anhia na muwefu essential oma endeda dem krata metintima na statement ameye essential ameye inde patient to be bohum oba no so why COVID test dana nansa na COVID test no negative. Now so still I know home for next year and year na then I'm sure. Them that one gen COVID test no. We also North America at least most people in there. So this is a clinical at least not clinic. That's what we do. A fairly form near the whole risk because you there from what symptoms or you're likely to be COVID. I am office worker. We send you to a testing center.
Okay.
Na yefe impacrone testing not say or antibody testing or
okay
nti who there I had assumed though behind but let me do a public service or COVID testing your antigen test your antibody test antigen test na so viral test
okay
on they swab your nose. Now, so swab nose now. They are trying to test whether you have the virus at that time.
Okay.
Okay, so that is an antigen test. This patient are making not at all symptoms, but also somehow they did an antibody test. Antibody test, not a blood test.
Okay.
Since that in Sakraiwo being on there, antigen testing. They are positive. I said that you have the virus at the time of the test.
Okay, dog me pacho.
Antibody.
Who say antigen? Antigen test, no.
Antigen or viral test.
Or viral test.
On they swab your nose.
Right. No. What symptom?
It means you have the virus at that time.
Okay.
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 Antibody testing. They take your blood. Why antibody test now? Not so a positive. It means that you have had the virus before.
Before, okay.
It does not mean there in na the virus. Na onumpon saying a virus now. It takes 1 to 3 weeks, and sana your blood will produce the antibodies.
Okay.
Them antibodies now will measure in your blood. And to say if you have symptoms, which you will fever, you are short of breath, you are coughing, with sense of smell, and now agent there, hey, obey the main COVID. When you go, you need an antigen test. You don't need an antibody test.
Okay, so that's the difference.
Antibody tester, it is an inappropriate test. Obi baby said the antibody testing was the thing. Center where antibody testing there. If you are the Oba Bear match who be in the year, and I say, Nini cry Bear match where you're by me, if you are not enjoy a COVID no way home. In this watch home, they can tell you whether you had COVID before. At that time.
Okay.
So, honestly, if you are Obia or a healthcare worker, they immediately. I went for an antibody test because none of them who they are. In the patients are made for whom even poor, Namina Yellow baby na me because up to 30% of Ngophobia Yarban they don't have any symptoms. And so I wanted to find out whether I had it and I didn't even know. And see, Nitsi mind there. The new doctor Kasa na a care test now. You need to determine whether at that time you are worried you have the disease, which means you have symptoms,
right?
In which case you need an antigen test. And now you are wondering whether in the past you had the disease and you are testing for antibodies. One effect of the antibody test no so there. So we now say we have serum antibodies and you ultimately them and when you COVID more. Antibodies it is proteins that your body produces to fight the disease.
Okay.
And see, people are looking at how they can harvest them to help treat people who have the disease.
I see. Now, Doc,
okay.
But could be a friend of nasal nasopharyngeal. And we are there.
Or antigen test.
Or
viral test.
Antigen. Okay.
Only antigen test.
Okay. I see. And a brofotin tensa nasopharyngeal.
In the people who started medicine, I always think they were insecure men. Maybe they wanted to impress some girls. In the time of big word the be our pest.
I see.
Because big word no man microphone
Enti dog, na esanya wo kire no, enya test bia na sese. O sorry ya o say o ko test for COVID.
Precisely.
Okay.
Or they because it will seem from what we are saying there, some of the people doing the test don't even understand the test they are supposed to be doing. Not only that, in fact, US tester or report, it will turn out there. People were just supposed to report antigen tests, but there are places where they are reporting even antibody tests. And so whenever you hear numbers about positive test, negative test, or there it's in the year. And of course, there are reports in Florida where there are labs that are only reporting positive tests. That's not what they are supposed to be doing. Wow. And there are also people who've done multiple tests, which are all being counted into the test results next year or they say in the year.
I see. Not just a dog. Ebi what wrong test. Ni nyina no what counter say COVID. Nipa when be say do say enom ne adio.
No quite. And having said that, now that we've cleared the thing about your health region, COVID of course will be a number. So US is a to 5 million, the world year to 20 million. There are this number of deaths. US 160,000. All those things are useful, but I want to give people a perspective.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, COVID wabo politics man now wabe politics.
Yeah.
And see, there is a lot of politics that is being done with it. And see, all the the politicians and some Walker was a big account now we issue.
That's right.
And the Sanrea, it's the US. All what you hear is in the US we are worse than every industrialized country. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Most of those things
I see.
In actual fact, also US we don't have enough tests. Wait a minute. Well, true. We need more tests. But the truth of the matter is that all countries in the world, the U.S. has done more tests than any country, about 60 million tests. The next nearest is India, about 30 million. Not only that, Obi, for example, then I heard Kamala Harris was saying, though the U.S. has the worst cases of COVID in any industrial country. It's a per capita infection. United Kingdom, Italy, and France are all worse than the U.S. Not only that, a lot of people don't know it, but in the last, what do they call it, month, there have been new cases in places like Hong Kong, Germany, Spain, Italy, and not only that, U.S. last Sunday, and I'm not looking at anything, so I may be a little off. They had 47,000 infections. That was the lowest in 2 weeks. And things are not as terrible as they are being made to seem.
Not correct.
Now, not only that, to look at the number of tests done, I already told you about US 60 million, India 30 million. All of Africa, I had 9 million tests. And our population is a little over 1 billion compared to the US, which is about 300 million. And a lot of things are being done. And not only the US, the deaths in the US that you are hearing about 40% of them are in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. And of course, a majority of them are elderly people. And not only that, in Europe and other places, kids have gone back to school, and most of the time they are doing fine. Now, so when you listen to these things, Mama, so it doesn't mean don't take it serious. Take it serious. But in Yanyama walking now or correct. It might be correct, but it is missing context. So I kind of wanted to give people an idea about what is happening. And not only that, actually, right now where we are, you are better off getting COVID now than getting it in about March.
Right.
Because around March, we didn't know a lot about the disease. Now, there is a lot more to learn, but we know far more than we did at that time. We know what works, we know what doesn't work, And by the way, regardless of what anybody tells you, wear a mask, do social distancing. Don't go and talk about my rights and all that kind of thing. Yeah, your rights matter, but the most important right is the right to live. So don't go and risk your life. Wear a mask. It's not that big a deal. Wash your hands. Social distance. Don't go to stupid parties there. Oh, Namang and Kufuoko parties. No, you need to be wise.
That's right. Yo, dog, another time say woman no sana. Me the main question be here. Me no Joe Wise. Kentucky. Or Amano so mami mi sabiana or asemba kwa opese obisa. Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, who will be here? Opesa only doctor.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Kennedy Mechiao.
Mejodo.
Yeah, thank you for giving us that insightful lectures on COVID. Now, my question kakra repeated maybe say, in terms of nominal figures now, or can say USA the highest number of tests comparative to, and I'm comparing it to an industrialized country because Africa they intimate for US and compare now. Do you think that was he looking at it from that angle, or we should be looking at relative tests in terms of population? So, for example, if you look at Germany, say, a test of about 8 million plus, or UK, a test of about 12.9, almost 13 million plus, and relatively, to a German population of about roughly maybe 80 million plus, compared to US 60 million of 300 plus to 400 million. Don't you think, say, in terms of relativity, that's or what people are saying, the per capita test, and much more of a realistic measure instead of looking at it from the nominal point of view.
Yeah, actually, per capita test a more accurate reflection based on the population. So, yeah, from that point of view, a few countries have done better. But the point is that, of course, the U.S. is 300 million and not 400 million. Actually, a little over 300 million. China has done far less tests. It has 4 times the U.S. population. India has done less. So I'm saying that, and actually, I was very happy that last week they announced that they are going to make sure that they will send point-of-care tests to all nursing facilities. That's a very good idea. And then they've also said that they're going to set up surveillance in inner city communities which are high risk. That is also a very good idea. But the point that I'm emphasizing is that it means that the U.S. has some ways to go in terms of where we all want it to go, But I'm just saying it's not terrible. It is not as if, because when you look at production of ventilators, the development of vaccines, standing up the military to go and support. In New York, for example, if they had used the resources well, they would not have sent all these positive cases back into nursing homes for them to die, because there was a field hospital set up by the military that was idle. They could have sent the people there. So I'm just saying, and actually, by the way, when you look at all of what do they call sub-Saharan Africa, the last time I checked, there was about 4,000 ventilators, half of them in South Africa alone. So relatively, America's economy, now that we're doing comparison, the U.S. economy is projected to shrink about 30.2% for this year. The European Union economy will shrink by 40%. And the reason I tell you all this is not because things are not bad. Yeah, things are bad. There are challenges. People go to school and all that. But I'm just saying that when you hear people talk about it, you think, oh, things are awful, all the other places. That is not true. Every place is having challenges.
Okay. My second question is, in U.S., as you will say, most corporates are now doing the tests. For instance, if you are at the workplace and the corporate is doing the test, what test do you tell them to do you? Because swap number they don't. I don't think that they allow you to.
It depends on what they are trying to find out. So first, if you have symptoms, then the test you need is an antigen test. They should swab your nose. In other words, they are trying to find out whether at that time you have the disease. End of argument. Okay.
But that is what most of them do.
The antibody test. So initially, when it came, people were saying, "Oh, so my employees have been home, so I want to see which of them are immune." And actually, healthcare facilities were very interested in that, because if it turns out that you have antibodies, then it means that when you get in touch with the disease, it's not as dangerous, because you might even be immune and you won't pick it up. So if a corporation is doing that, if, for example, you go to work and you have headache and fever and your boss says, no, you need to go and get a test, the test we're talking about is an antigen test.
Okay.
So if your boss says, oh, you were home for the last 3 months and we are coming back, we want to see who has immunity, so let's go test, then you are talking about an antibody test. So the two are different, but there is a fly in the ointment. It used to be, when the disease started, say, even if you recover, they were recommending that you get 2 negative tests before you assume clear. The WHO as well as CDC has moved away from that. Now they are saying that if you have the disease 10 days after you have it, if you have a mild case and the last 24 to 72 hours without symptoms, you can be cleared without a test, a negative test. If it was severe, then instead of 10 days, it's 20 days. So this is evolving. It used to be that you required a negative test to be cleared, that you no longer had the disease. Now, you just require to be asymptomatic or without symptoms. No fever, no headache, no shortness of breath. If that happens for 24 to 72 hours, you are fine.
Yeah, my last question, Mike. Ain't he, my last question. Into by this asymptomatic symptoms, I am more 10 days. No, you will say argument about ye test in and go for phone in ye be, and go for phone in ye be more 10 days. After 10 days, no sign by. Yeah, no more test him because almost according to CDC name, WHO
That's
after
exactly
10
what
days
I
no,
just told.
on beating me back. Now, man, forced to say start 10 or my coffee no my ban. On beating me there, yeah, banana. Because now people are afraid.
It is assumed that if you have been asymptomatic for 24 to 72 hours, then you don't have the disease and you are not transmitting it.
Okay.
And at that time, and the reason is that they found out at that time, so we test no cry. The people who test positive, they are testing positive to viral particles that are not active. And it is exactly what I'm saying. So now the research is that 10 days after you test positive, the last 24 to 72 hours asymptomatic, you are fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah. Doug, the children, thank you for your information. Recently, not quite long ago, there's a medical doctor from Houston, Texas. Now, from Texas, I don't know whether it was Dallas or Houston. No, I can say, hydroxychloroquine, it's cure COVID-19 or coronavirus. And what you might about 350 patient of a patient of using hydroxychloroquine. As a medical doctor, how true is that?
Well, it is actually neither here nor there. One, I think that that woman, and I've seen her videos too, if she has evidence of cure, she should do what we do in medicine. She should bring the data forward so that other people will look at it and try and reproduce her results. So that is one. But having said that, hydroxychloroquine is actually a very interesting drug. I think that particularly in the US and maybe even globally, it has been too politicized because Trump promoted it. I think Trump should have left it to the doctors. And my own view is that if Trump has never promoted that medicine, we have looked at it like the same way we look at every medicine, and it will have risen or fallen on its own merits. Unfortunately, once Trump started promoting it, I think some people wanted to knock the medicine in order to get Trump. So the two largest medical journals in the world, Lancet and New England Journal of Medicine, published a global study showing that hydroxychloroquine is unsafe and not effective. Well, unfortunately, 1 week before the Lancet published it, they wrote an editorial calling on Americans to defeat Trump, which is not the role of a journal in my view. 200 doctors objected to the study knocking hydroxychloroquine, and 2 weeks later, the two journals accepted that the data they used were faulty, so they withdrew the study. Of course, they had already damaged hydroxychloroquine fatally. So right now, as a physician, I think that on balance, the evidence is more against hydroxychloroquine than for it, but the question is not completely settled. Having said that, I also think that the idea that hydroxychloroquine is unsafe should be questioned. Why should it be questioned?
Why?
if you look at the study that they did showing it is unsafe, they gave twice the recommended dose to patients who were more sick. And of course, when you do that, you're going to get side effects. The evidence, therefore, against their safety claims, one is the high dose and sicker patients. But more to the point, hydroxychloroquine has been used for over 50 years. It's on the WHO's own essential list of medicines. All those who use had never required a EKG. I took it as a child. A lot of Ghanaians listening to me have taken it before, and it has been safe all around. My approach with medicine is that look at the science but use common sense. So I don't buy their safety arguments. Having said that, I think from point of view of the effectiveness, I think in the initial stages, there were evidence that it was working, but as more and more data come in, it is leaning against effectiveness. So for now, the matter is not settled that it is leaning against effectiveness. Having said that, every doctor practices in context. We can sit in the U.S. where remdesivir and other medicines are there, $3,000 a pop, and people can pay for it. Actually, U.S. bought many months' worth of the remdesivir. Most people in the world can't have it. So if somebody is sitting at Ofosuhene or Bangladesh or Myanmar, and they have hydroxychloroquine, and I believe it is safe and there is nothing else, and I'm the doctor there, I'll give them hydroxychloroquine while I'm praying for more data and more medicines. And by the way, the recommendation for hydroxychloroquine is for early COVID, not hospital COVID, which is one of the errors they made in the
What is early COVID?
In the study. Early COVID is people who have the disease but don't need to be in hospital. And now that you bring that up, if you classify in COVID, we have mild, moderate, severe, and critical. And it will take about an hour to go through the different states. So having said that, I think that you go to war with the army you have, not with the army you wish to have. So if I was sitting in Bangladesh or Ofosuhene and my patient had COVID and I didn't have any medicine, I will give them hydroxychloroquine, I will give them dexamethasone, and I will pray.
You pray?
Yes.
Right.
No.
Dog, you said that's my last one. You said the presumptive vice president of the Democratic Party said something, and it wasn't true about COVID. Is that what he said?
Yeah, I just told you that this afternoon she said that the U.S. had the worst case among the industrialized countries. It's not true. And I told you why. If you look at it's not true. I'm just telling, if you like, go. Even the BBC has it there. If you look at per capita infection rates and death rates, in actual fact, United Kingdom, Spain, and your friends France, per capita have worse numbers than the US. But the US is not as good as Germany. That is true.
Bro, Mike, I think you can continue. But thank you very much, dog. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Nana ya Amoakohene ya better was say, yo, last person na me fa aba na me hwe say aba ni bibia kan dia e be ma Dr. Edien Asiha aba.
Yes, Uncle Mike.
Yes,
Uncle Mike.
Ye mo akwa aba anti aba.
Ama judu na what then?
Ye wo ye papa e wo bibi sa Dr. Ata Canada.
Me chete fu nyina me hope do bia no ye doc oto dan wa cheba nyi.
Yo, ma cheba me jodo what then?
Nyankopon na do mo nye ezini na me ba wa abado pa dey it take time off busy schedule na aba na anya ba yin chechim. Na ame no ewu da na nka chloroquine sam na nche me pede me bi so. Usan that today every time that I'm not there for nothing to church him no that church they be I will see now on your very but now me pay them be so there going in for the test really because me mama I mean the test test numpo na say be sure be sie ana de bibi dam still able to say negative for able to me nya bi wo queen ma na de bibi dam. It isn't really necessary to ever get a test now.
Well, it depends. Because actually, now that you bring that up, there are countries where a lot of the people who are being tested in US will never be tested. Because they think that they don't have enough tests, and so they are not testing anybody who works in the US. My wife is a nurse. She says at her hospital, there are people who have had 10 tests. You know, so somebody just gets up, I feel like having the test. And say, yes, do you actually need the test? It depends. For example, if you're walking around, you don't feel sick, and you just say, I wonder whether I have COVID, that really should not be an indication for the test. But if you are short of breath, you are dizzy and all that kind of thing, given the times we are in, then COVID is a reasonable thing to test for. So it depends.
Okay, into the picture will say I test a real. I don't even know there yet because like what do you have to do to stay like you just go back to your normal like washing hands using your
it depends on why you had the test. For example, if you have no symptoms and you had the test, then until you get the results, maybe you shouldn't do anything. I know that there are people who say they will make a test, but sometimes it takes about a week for me to get the results back. The sensible thing to do is that if you have symptoms and you had the test, until you get the results, you should assume that you are positive and take precautions. It's like STD. If you have signs and symptoms and you get an STD test, until you get the results, you should assume you are positive. You can't go around doing whatever until you get.
I mean, I am Kakano, on Sunday, me featuring me, Juma. In Tabia, before Bibi Dama, I can make a back some days, I meant now when I'm testing them back. Until test name Ben, a best nephew. In the same any hours, there's Bishop Bibi Dama. Oh, there is a whole lot of age, you know. Oh, my,
given the rules that we are operating under now, your doctor should be able to give you a note to stay on because it is irresponsible for them to let you work and maybe 1 week later find out you are positive. It will mean that everybody you are in touch with now has to go test. Into the first question is assuming the test was needed. Assuming the test was needed, then once you have it, you should stay home till you get the results.
Okay, so you want to make a day, really negative, but somehow I feel that I have to go and do it again. So I've gone to do it 1 week, maybe.
Why are you going to do it again? If it was negative, it was negative. Why are you going to keep doing it?
If it's negative, you don't get it again, or it can come. You can get it later.
You can get it again, but I think if you get a negative flu test in December, it doesn't mean you can't have flu in January. You can have it. But if it is negative, then until there's a need to test you again, you are negative.
Okay. There was CP, but I don't know, I won't like a credit, you know, but I mean, I do you hope you don't about sharing. Into me, Pacho, that my Yankasayan remedies, you will fear today, will puna. As
of now, nobody is sure. For now, people think vitamin E, C help. People think zinc help. But in actual fact, we can find out that all those don't help. Why do we say that? Because if you think about it, about 30% of those who actually have the disease don't have any symptoms. And not only that, those who actually have it and have symptoms, as at now, by 80% will recover. And so whatever it is that you are doing that you think is making you recover, sometimes it's really doing nothing. The thing is that most people recover, so we don't know.
Last one, I didn't when you be I have one organ to be affected now to the rest of their lives. No, say.
For now, it is too early to know that. The early part when this thing came out and people were saying, "Oh, blacks were immune," I knocked it down immediately because it hasn't gone on long enough for us to know. This disease, there are people who get it, it doesn't affect any organs at all. There are people who get it, their sense of smell goes. There are people who get it, affect their heart. There are people who get it, affect their kidney. And like everything, the extent to which it affects you depends on who you are. It's the same thing. There are people who get diabetes and it's very mild. They live an almost normal life. Other people get diabetes and they lose their kidneys or their eyes. And it depends.
Yeah, okay. Yo, me da sipi, nyami sure. Aye.
Yo, dog, you better was say. I'm so sorry there. Dog, my final farewell message.
What I would tell everybody in there.
Can I ask this one? Just short one question. It's a dog. Can I just walk tomorrow and get it?
In the free consultation,
Can I just
it depends on where you live. There are places where you can walk in tomorrow and get a test. There are places where you can. It depends on where you live and what symptoms you have. So, for example, God forbid, if you woke up tomorrow and you are short of breath and dizzy and you have a fever, you probably will get a test because, the system will move you to a test. If you just get up and said, oh, Mr. Diane, test here, maybe you won't get a test because the justification will not be strong. So it depends.
So basically, your primary doctor have to recommend you before you can get a test.
Precisely.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Thanks for all the questions. So, dog, I didn't know DJ finally. Now, finally.
What I'm saying that we've seen this before. The flu pandemic of 1919 in San Francisco, people marched against facial coverings because they were angry. And finally, the city lifted it, and a lot of people got the disease and died. So when you hear people protesting, wearing face masks, don't join them. When you hear people marching because of Black Lives Matter or whatever it is, the disease is not political. Whenever you congregate in groups, you are at risk. So wear your mask, social distance, don't do things you don't have to do, don't go to parties unnecessary, don't join street parties, and live healthy. If you have underlying disease, you got to be careful because when it gets you, it affects you even more.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel well, you should discuss that with your doctor because there are people who get this disease and it's very serious. So take it seriously.
Okay.
But this too shall pass. All these things pass, and be positive and encouraging. Keep in touch with your friends because a lot of people get depressed, they get anxious. You need to maintain normal life. So stay in touch with your friends and pray. Prayer is always good.
So, Doc, this one is just pop up. Are we still not getting no vaccine at the moment? There's no vaccine available. Is that right?
There's no vaccine now, but actually, the U.S. has done a wonderful job of vaccines. What they did was, normally vaccines will take about 4 to 5 years. We still don't have one for HIV. But for this one, the government decided that they were going to bet on some vaccine makers. They bet on about 5.
Okay.
So what is happening is that they invested about $1 billion in each of them, a little less in some of them. The reason is that they had telescoping all the steps.
Okay.
So as things stand now, people think by December to maybe March, there will be a vaccine. And if one of them works and 4 don't work, it means that the $1 billion they bet on them has gone to waste. But they would rather waste the money than waste life. So we are very far advanced towards getting a vaccine. In addition to that, the antibodies are very promising. In addition to that, they are finding things that work. There's a metazone, it's a cheap steroid that works. Fenofibrate is medication that people think is quite positive. And then remdesivir works. So they are working. The specialists are working. We knocking things off if it doesn't work, and we're bringing new things we didn't know into the field. So we should be hopeful. Things are getting better. It's better to get COVID now than to have gotten it in March because we know more now.
Oh, wow. I see. All right, Doug. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate your schooling. What we have given us. Yeah, I won't say that's Papa Dog. When it's another time with any other information, Doug, we will reach out to you, and then we hope you will get time for us too. So thank you very much.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yo, bye-bye. Dr. Atta Kennedy, ena yatse nenken yadana se papa se oni abeko sa nkyerɛkyerɛ mu ehia enye so sorry ase test bia na kotekio enye test bia o epamo akyɛw ma wone doctor enkasa na hu the type of tester ohia na emwa yada dog ase jo se usu ewo ha.
Yeah, me ha.
Joe, to asoma na nafasi na yenkoso.
Yo, me can say NDC former politics in Ghana no I had thing. I mean, hard to make to have a discussion, full discussion, intellectually stimulated with policy alternative. Anka ebemo minor ako nenim. Free SHS ochina osi wenye adebe free bi enye papa. Oba obe review no oba obe guno. Unya de ba unya implement ya no kra no sha ase na ne de no progressive free SHS adeche nkwala ekotre no mu di boni a na nado na show nkutupa because of the free SHS nti na ama nkwala na say na nado de che wo mu a no timbia no mu tufufuru gum easy so wa true din wenya nipa 30 something million 32,000 a foreigners any national minor na easy across financial loss to the state then ankwala edimbam meanwhile no easy true din na obi ba so true ni din easy ntimi hwe nanim enka ncho se wo ya kwala ntimi true din easy ne na dia no so be true din o true din a MPP ni NDC gina wono ebe challenge o challenge a easy no ebe fra kwala no ana nipa na obe true ni din say ukofa birth certificate breach so we the 18 ana kofa adia so ye gan ni bra ana ombe kwa koye background ahwe ukofa ba no we the 18 a eno anu ko wanim ukofa ba na ni 18 a ne abisa we nya hwe a ye yudi afimu ne chese tembia no mama de na nado so atua DKM for 98%. Ubi aba o se na nado boa on fa date bia mai on can to support it no can trust no can trust na nado so Kutuka International Airport no can try on fa ma no one jump into another argument. I just don't know. I don't and Osha a particular group of people and this in Kwa and a desa in Subino a woman and this in Kwa no Kita Subina they always
radio Amenado.
Yet Joe.
They always make argument and jump over who question now or answer no shift to another one every now and then. Sebi edin aye ko true foreigner oba be true ni din e den na true say foreigner o true ni din NDC no be to abama no e bi class foreigner no ko be true ni din o be to na ba kra ma MPP sebi nipa oye minor a o be true ni din e bi kra na no be to na ba kra ma MPP it is MPP take position say obi a oye foreigner no o ma no true ni din a I didn't think I was a NDC.
Hey, somebody almost say, I'm a social democrat. I'm a ho.
And you know, I hope the can't catch from some bedroom with you, no better Abanama NDC.
It's already no Joe. Ebiana MDC, the kind I'm going to be crashing the bottom.
Easy. I am because the way I this year politics for Ghana, na money is so Nanado a CVW plant. I mean service planting for food. youth in a friend is saying youth in agric for omo youth in afforestation for omo NAPCO for employment omo all these are things, visible things that are there. And another one who or try to be shipping a minor there baby. It is all adrian for one. You just bring that adrian in a Georgia. Now they are better Ghana for him. Maybe by me say we there to today and this in fact any policy be ama among cancel baby. Oh, no, I bet to back what actually about to bomb. No, I bet to bomb. Sani argument on Sani no, I bet didn't trust any argument on. So it makes the politics more of a casasa instead of real dealing with issues. Double track. NDC befa kwanye ben so no more you double track if you. Nana do send a plan or the double track if you want. NDC plan ben on the bar a be double track if you.
No plan.
Ne kweni. On fa no mau. Oh, and then another buy or see free SHS or be free SHS or promise Ghana force obey so buy or starting with face here for what that down and only free SHS none another cast obey. No, whether a Mahamo, whether a Seduketio, whether a Sami Jensi, every single one of them Banoma Betuagum tra noko. Mahama now to name him say a bicycle. Yemfa enkutia men's good foka because men's good and no abidi is not a registered entity. Men's good investment is not a Bank of Ghana secured. And tesa and kame mame okoton jeni no boka and ka also kwa banho no ko jini sikefi abanho. But then I'm saying mame okoton jeni no boka ni investment enye aban security oboka no adeko ni fee. Sanso no bi oton ade o kantabantu. Okoto ade no boka o de ko ni fie nti so ko men's good investment na sika ne share the investment akoyenye government secured but so sika the bank na o sika ne share dia and a bank na ntua Bank of Ghana regulated and it is insured into sika na ya ban say say o de sika man back into say over na bet na ho
e sade akwara na bi tolo to no ma di kwa sika ba because sika ba
exactly. Enka safe pepe enka ko tulutu no wini ananko akoju sika waban ho enso mahama timi story no abegina so bo betia men's good for sika mom within a year na no abeya na argument na sane e dey chiro man
and we so na chance die electoral commissioner mami di men so ye let the can say let the Ghanaians know omo obi omo ye every
yeah me tie no
was so much discover foreigners minors. Now, many adiobu used to discover. Or there, I never knew what my children were Christian. You know,
same way, I'm American. And this is what my men so boss. I've been see you. My men who udia, who say udia, Ibini, and not just obey you, DFU. Then yes,
I was very. I said. How were they able to identify who is a foreigner and who is a minor?
Minya, no clear woman say easy, actual dinning in every year. And now, who say in Kofubi or how many over 32,000 plus, ya challenge you. Na Sankofona ya challenge you. Easy Nanka Sankasa ewo record a trace say, a binimu honomoa. Ye domco court, I'm a jail woman. It's a Nigerian near. Oko yesonko ka guarantee amani ya ye chena ono crowd no abetru ni di ne dada e no no enya ne card no e no no de ne di ne ko guarantee amana another Nigerian e ye che no e na ko investigation ni hu se Ghana ni bi e na register a guarantee man no no nya ne card no nti se yisi ba no be ka se ye hu se list no foreigners bi abamu a enye all the 32,000 asem na yisi kana yisi no wo inyina so because ebinum wo ha ya che omo a prosecute omo a ye hu say omo ye foreigners omo din wo sebe nipa 62 ya ye che omo bandai ano mo ka abubu ohui no mo kita voter ID card ni bi omo ma be chiro omo din abeda di se sankofo no omo ye foreigners and omo buy no be chiro din no inti say yisi ni so be investigation our trolete say impokra yisi ni kra investigation and won who say those people procure them illegally now. If you know when you are so bet me aka say ye who say minus aberem can you say you see almost 37 days and a trust are dealing with almost 38 into be crowd how my investigation crowd because they be by first week I'm a woman say oh we crash through within the first week in cry I investigation may who say
he said even 1 week before moment 1,000 to go through all that. So you know about that on the 1,000 it's true what you are saying, but somebody can't go through that.
And to say yes in the case same we are won't tell say and one say will be say yes no what but you don't take that issue out of context. Think you would be from think tank for
water tank
poly tank for every NDC. Oh say yes in mind yes foreigners any financial to the the same no almost me as to say 16 points before the voter register near was 16,843,000 plus na cultural we you 16.9 into the same number. Into na who claim if I so say be sank through DND. So one argument any panel. And nipa na nim say yes na yes echo through D. When ya nipa 1.373,422. Omo ye nkofo a omo ntro mu din da omo di 18 years and 19 years. It is a easy keep 16.8 no crown and anka what this uncle for we can you are talking about almost 18 million. Right. 18 million.
Yeah. Yo, now this
control dino when you're 16.9 and so nipa ni timi ba no asan be cancer same way no him say asemo a can data no doesn't support that because of politics. Because in the discussion on the issues, Mahama, and when him say a whole police official in charge of communication in Bekase, or so for now, you jailin. Yangelin is here the nekotum. And the conviction was because your man is Sikasu untia. No, so for Yesika, your finance, no, so for Yesika intia, inti, and no co prison. No prison the Church of Pentecost for abitia papa no fine man ama ye jaino ye jaino and so no Mahaman kujina baby say oh ya jeli osofono na ebeda di say ye nipa no asanka oda nipa na say o kan ye nti ene ye jaya osofono meanwhile so osofo ye jaino July cross na wo. Oh, David.
All right. Joe Weiss, and they are 10 and Kane. Yeah, that's so. I'm saying you're not being Kasai. Yeah, running show no na yentimi and sorry so. Safena sa would do a video or the ato minimum nanayao. Amoakohene Ofosuhene. And he did my dear. Yeah, the ebro fire for fire. When he asked them and they say, Mammy call me for Reverend Samuel. We are not a Obefua. Reverend.
Yes.
Amoakohene.
The Trump supporter. Yes.
How did you know? I'm a Grammy a Trump supporter. Sir.
How did you know? Hey Mike. Hey. Mike, you now go up with that. Already ready to jazz out of the Obi, I want a choice. How do you fall from Africa?
Oh, Miss Mepe. Hey, Ofosuhene. Yes,
who said at the Kennedy Beckham or say in summer Obi can also also steady and sana you conclude. Yang is semi or can't be DH. That's how some of our problem.
But Trump Obama miskabia bottom there. And then
Nipani idea access balance and
Ofosuhene.
That is your DH Ofosuhene. That's how you see your thing. That's what you see your thing. The way I see my things are different.
It's clear. He's a liar.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. What I am let us sit down and assess. No. Wisdom. Before you can get that, you have to communicate with God, and He will give you the answer. Okay, I see. Entina Peter, Jesus said, "Kofu kanana also can then chirep." Some of them were saying Jesus was a prophet larger than Peter. You are the Son of the living God. What I say? It ever said that when something is going on, sit down, assess, balance, and pray for it before you comment. That's my style. What do I say? I'm saying offenders. Doctor at the Kennedy, he's good at medicals but politics now. Only problem kakra. Then I say, on concentrate on medical. That is his gift. That's God. Why is there about politics? They know that problem. He's a politician. Because he's a politician. No. He stood for president. What are you talking about? Also, beyond the gift. People don't know. Also, beyond the gift. How do you determine that? Beyond a gift. You have to concentrate on your gift. You know, be a politician. Also, a politician. That's why we have. You want to say you don't know what he's doing. I'm talking. I know what I'm trying to say. That's what I see. That's what I see. Because Tracy lecture over mine, it was brilliant. What could deep, and he was given insight about certain things because that is his field. What I say? But he's also a politician too. Oh, Mame Kano, it doesn't mind say, "Obi Bakana me a sofu," and you take it so a sofu. What about their deeds? You know them. You know, kind of a sofu now. That's all. That be the way he will put things in place, then you see that Nepal in the Madeno. What you say? Obia want a gift. Obia assassin. Obia want a gift. As a human being, you have to sit down and ask God, what is your gift? Why you not follow Obia? You go and be a mess up. Instead of suffering, you won't mess up or my gun. Tell me, channel. Even radio program, also be an gift. Obio more by no a mess up. Let us say. It will be one a gift. That's what I'm trying to say. After Canadians, there were a lecture. Inti onkoda no mwe na yenti maybe about on medical sector. Na yeso yafambo ye ho ban. Ye bia na meka de. Reverend, we don't know, Mike. I'm just curious about. It can you imagine help them in diversity? I want my Reverend to help me. So, what do you see about this president? I wish my share with people in Nana. What is good? What makes you love him? What makes you support him? He's a president. Of course, you all know that. He's the president. Listen. He is the president. Whether Upu, he is the president. Nobody is challenging that. Oh, Mamika said, you asked me a question. Me, no. I'm answering you from where I'm from. But what you just said is obvious, so let's move on. Yeah, that is you. You can't understand what I'm saying. Not the same thing, Mr. Mihu. Near the same thing. Me obiana ne gift.
Put here radio Amenado.
It means me who no first also me who are the president. Whether me pull honor the hot because my faith tells me say we should respect and pray for our leaders because the leaders if they mess up now we suffer. We as individuals suffer. Leader no a human being on your buffalo or your drum keke no way in your damn position. It is when we mess him up. He's also going to mess. Either Obia or car, not car in the front, driver and drive. Now more passenger mutim not yo. More anybody want to know will go home. Then who caused it?
Yo, Reverend, what are Cornelia and Sonai Queen?
Oh, it's him.
Obakasa Antiaba. Obekasa.
Anta ba ya una ka say ya ebi na Ata Kennedy owie.
Bankasa Ata Kennedy na mbisa question. Men ka me submission.
Ayo. Meso mankasa nti meso edumi 10. Me wi manusa. Yo nti mesre de as Ghanaians no the way your president aye Nanado or kon yina me ya hwan de ye mofra obeku school no yenyimzi amobi ndada dem Bible say him dia me man
na reverend school ya semi a wo kan yes next week omo be school amafo bebre say omo ma no enko eno so dwen ho say
well nka school no obu a nka why study sansana omo we bu the president will allow the children to go and get sickness what you say why them mofra no work school they obey the rules. Them is your fear. What's over give distance when you don't get close to people. Share mask. What do you say? Oh, that's how you can combat this yari. That's a wound this so. If you cry with fear now in this way, you will get a sickness. And I remember. To school the only thing there, the best there you obey the rules or whatever, mama. That's all.
All right.
Min get in the school so by there. Okay, be a classroom here. Offer 60. Okay. Says ya yaraba here for 20. I know they will do that. It has it. And to who students no kwa also so e kwa na kotan we go. My pele. What I say. Oh, you follow what the teacher is telling you. Time no so. Wapon. Ako. If you are classroom ako share with them. When you do that, you run away from the sickness. Like hey boy, yes yeah, there boys, guess. When you want to na kosia.
You better ask.
It's me the muinas.
Yo, I don't say that.
I'm the BB you wadia, no. The man is.
Reverend Samuel.
Bye.
And you're saying came from San Francisco.
Bye.
Yeah, that's it. Reverend. Mamen
ko.
Obefua monitor owiana anti aba obefua all right yenti obefua kan dia aba
okay Mike
yenti
masama mo kai wo about that 7-day Adventist for now what's it
one trot test on Sunday
one more one culture exams asam no ya hum to ye papa
hey ana ojina ni jidie mo ojina ni jidie
in na say there we jidie do no be am for so but something like writing exams I might not come high away some of the classes but why and what kind of way and standards it's your choice whether to do it or not but and do like a day in don't be COVID that BPI different That's at the master like the one shut down for exams on Sunday that it's because of certain situations. Now this has created a timer. A walk or baby man of Fukebi sound that won't cheer a Oka Peter number one farmer a also one fan is the money.
No correct.
And be no more one I'm so no yet to say especially out Africa because I see if I walk from her. Me want to go school. Say what I tell them consider me do. What you? Because if something is not within your power, if you want kasa, and you feel consider say, if you make me a chap milk a party, another me a day, how would you have power over it? But something that you don't have power over, no, you don't force it. No, what I want to end like Kramofu, and where they say Kramofu, they have a holiday. They have days or they were fasting. It is there. Everybody knows. But apart from that, me I should over there. And Friday, because what happened Friday, one show, my Muslims one show, and you were friends, and on Friday, I had to be that. Many times they try them, Friday, they try them. So what's that way, the man? Not politics, and I need this is not about Amenado, this is about Ghana. That's what we are so much. I'm a milk chap who consider, or we should have milk chap who feeder, or we should not get a Mufamano, yes, you catch a woman. Can I 1 year? And why I'm sure one of Mufamano were inward looking, and would have back to Ghana. Now, the chap practice, so no, I think there, or she and your coupon. The last of a lot to come by her, I want to them. chapel. I remember them go on Ghana. Consider what my area. I to catch your bishop there. Maybe a chapel, what are 2 hours? I walk 1 hour, 1 hour, Kujuma. Now, for no catch your there, or Kujuma. Because this be a Yamisumo. A try ye or Yamsum, example, I try Yamsum because all Wabra boy, all Wabra boys ye. It's a no Piafi or no Yaminti was so that the Pia and a walking in the name of Yankopon. But Yankopon will be an akmum. And no Pia will access to God. It is not always said same there. I mean, I'm going to consider, and I mean, I'm going to read them, and it is choices. Already, I read a look at Peter near a Winneba University one fair of the top. I say, how on earth can you even say this? Eh? I have to think Peter, been wanting Yamisum. What about when you want real shower where you don't know what you do when you sell Basa? Are your choices? And the fact that you are a Muslim or you are a Christian or you are a Pentecost, to them, I want my uncle Pentecost. Yeah, what Pentecost in playing for now? What you want about Prado or Knipa? This is still echo. And guys, Assemblies of God, Muhammad Jamafo, oh, Messiah, Kono, it's still of assemblies. It's our choices.
Abba, over sample for no Ghana Pentecost. I may make American Pentecost.
Now you want Pentecost, what you tell Ghana? Oh, Ghana, my Kiana can Ghana, not to Pentecost. It's in Pentecost, in Cometsma, 1 coffee 1 year. Now go then, Mike, I put up for me also. What's the reason Pentecost? But in Pentecost, I think we keep people over too much. Now, pay you want to make a she. Now, I blind you because I got be not or if I'm going to walk what a actual. What can Pentecost? What is someone? Oh, I'm so wild, especially my family, my name, and my family one tries them, and I'm manifold. What Bible says, you know, I want it. What to show one man was future because all then you panel. I don't wish we are seeing now because this time we are to like to do. Because you tell one and every day this is all what the world is. So we tell them to need to what's one show out, watch on the decker. It's their choice. But they shouldn't come and bed in the president who is giving them free education and everything. Or something come on. Now want to tell them of what show. And then when they get up, they give an example of Muslims and Christians. Christopher. So whatever I'm looking at Sunday, nobody is going to talk about it. They will go and write their exam. If you want to show, the man not wearing or sure that you're fine.
Yo,
what man you
me one question, man, Tiaba. Yo, Antiaba, Mr. Omaya H3. It was a especially, and this is especially to MPP. Yeah, Tigana, SSC, the daddy. Nay, I'm feeling Saturday. What prevented the ministry and the government same way by and also in order because the best Mukraba NDC Nibukran Washada Koshi 3 so that they will fix it on Saturday and just create because a buy NDC for sorry them and Omodi another buy no or YCC against church. What prevented us from one, you better on a Saturday making a provision for the people to write the exams by quarantine them because normally you prepare some be quarantine. Someone you prepare some be quarantine and a government thing to me. I didn't mean to fixes exams on a particular day, at least to suit everyone, just to take the minority consent in. Because if it is not broken, why fix it? The exams that day, not that we need new.
So that's why
but let you know about explaining. I think so. Explaining said initially no one first Saturday account, but something came up. So because of timing and everything, no the shame. And then M said SDA for school finally came up with something. But unfortunately, it didn't work. But the whole point is they say this thing shouldn't even be political. I say we're not going to when sometimes when something happens and it's just one time and yet the normal time things are we should be able to accept it and move on because we are not in normal times and we all know that they be a But sometimes you coach. Sometimes people know why you but they do when you have a share Sunday. Oh, one of those things I said. Oh, me SDA Nipia best way to talk to about because SDA baby won you know. I mean some said the MPP stronghold. And I don't think that when choices won't try culture of deck. Now to me ko wo gigi says asam no wo jira so Yankopon be shrawa. And Yankopon will open a door for you. There shouldn't even be an issue so wo be adi wo. No, thank you to me, yeah, but it is a way man minority. Now, another group of Susia Cocusiada, another group of Susia Commande. You're not thinking a yellow day. What you say? No any power now, you control over it. Yeah, now come punish you. This is not within your power. When I was won your baby Saturday, but
the law
is
made for man, not man for the law.
And it's not in your power. So why do you worry about it? Oh, into my guys are the politics. Into when Mahama went to have about free education. I mean, who is
all right.
Oh, now this is power. They don't know you know. And me say, Obilele you Kodakra no Mupatina, Omunya Masbomba, because they have nothing to offer this country. Ghana.
Yo.
They have nothing to offer until they don't know. I don't think it's going to watch because they have confidence in the president. Say, oh my God, I'm working on Munyama and KB ambassador. I don't think
the problem came from them. I think the problem came from the NDC, from the XDA people, because
yes, it is moving forward means there is something they can do because me they colonize them today and then who hear me be brave. It is a crime or not say they are specifics in Yama, but this shouldn't even be a political issue.
60 years old came to the radio say I'm interested not because of my faith now.
Hey, also Jinem Masadra. Oh no. Ofosuhene.
The world has become global.
Ofosuhene.
You shouldn't stay to the extremes out.
And Kulano what's Jinem Masadra, Misak, and Abedna?
That's okay. If they don't want to do it, it's fine. They should go and register for no.
They will not bow to the laws.
No. Somehow they will pass. Oh,
Sunday school. You need to come to that Sunday school. So-called Methodist and Presbyterian school. You need to come on that Sunday.
We are Muslim. We are Muslim. Don't count.
You have to come to get a roll call. So by and you know, Mr. American we said about American. Now you for consider
the law are made for man, not man for the law.
Exactly. Oh,
SDA come from here in the United States. We start say
Yo, Yadamwase. Mamen ko for Obafua in New York. Obafua. All right. Enti Obafua. Nka mamen ko na Amando. Nana Amando, ya mo akwa ba ni.
Yeah, Joe.
Ana de wa nsa won kwan ni bi. Enti am say bibia e clean.
Oh, let me be clean.
Enkwandewa.
Amando catch us every day category.
Maybe I'm not on the job. I'm just you there. I am not first hours. We are not thinking faculty question. You know, some rest in our area. You see,
Yo.
You're the doctor. You're more of a church and the program. I am very, very dedicated part. None of the people who started to do my side, it was that politics. Because of late after
oh, yeah, Juma. They say why busy?
As we're interested in politics,
oh, yeah, Juma. Amando.
I'm a people, I'm a service.
Say COVID in it. So your front line.
Yeah, he's a physician. He's working.
All right. I'm just talking about politics. I know he's working, but they care about politics. Seem like that's why.
So why busy or the politics not to work?
All right.
He does politics in Ghana.
Oh, okay. You made the question. Pennyford was to your wife today. Pennyford was to that one with answer. NPP are accepting responsibility for their actions.
Actions, babe.
Sir, maybe I am being to say I am for sure.
I didn't know we are
what I remember to be Sammy. It is school as senior. The CIA exams to the excess exams are quite sharing in them. And you know what? A wine fault. Whose fault?
The constitution is want to be shifting on what does the constitution say?
Yes, I want to.
Okay.
Okay, add into that. The NPP party got nothing to do with it. This is the Ghana Education Service one of them. And a white for
Ghana Education Service. Who? No. And the castle, why you can so
white is Ghana Education and white together. I don't know your white.
No, Ghana Education is the government of Ghana, and your Ghana Education Service, and your Ashanti Region Education, and I say Kumasi Education Service, and I know Hawaii Education Service. It's Ghana Education Service.
This is just be white, and white for your meta.
Daddy, but why can I exams? Why can you come to Nigeria for say on exams on a Saturday?
What is
the constitution
we don't know. No matter the time of
what is wrong with that?
What's wrong?
Problem, Papa.
I want me. We are now. I want me to ask if NDC for the bar. As some year can you see a can.
I am going to no more Ghana. I mean,
cannot force Ghana education service. Why in collaboration, they
collaboration.
Me pacho mama nkasa mai mummy enko one yes ramo
Mike me okay but so busa question no me to aso ame
question enko one
oh there be say me busa question but answers never no me say again na agai na mun dim to musa ya so
Amenado, what is that from Sorry?
What we say, the bar registration, registration. No, we need to NDC for LPP communicators are now communicators for the EC. I never knew that until registration we buy it. Never told us about communicators for the EC.
Man, this very communication easy.
How often now who say because you made it political. The position you made it political. It was just
Mama can say, what you see, no, you
Ofosuhene. Or mine, I yen, I apply a bomb face in you. You saw politics, no police, saw judiciary service, you know people, be our can and they are yes, yet children of mine. As soon as you are there, yes, you can tell and
Utie Radio Amenado.
What is wrong with the kids or with the children writing the exams on Saturday?
Utie Radio Amenado.
My brother, who goes to the Ben and now who goes on Saturday?
There are better who pandemic. There are better who pandemic.
Me pacho mama enyina no one after the other.
What will you change? Do you exams on Saturday? What will you change? Again, So we are exam Saturday no. Now
constitution we say we are exam Saturday and yeah ne. E constitution.
Me pacho me say we are exam Saturday na we are Monday. Just one that Saturday Saturday Sunday weekend Ghana in go school. E class.
Exam Saturday. Yeah, exam Saturday.
Ante who can come have them all? You come, you have and then we say something. We are not in normal time. Ghana, yes,
so what is the problem? We are not in normal time. So what is the problem?
We are not in normal time. So what is the difference? Yes, we have come to get
constitution advice.
Yeah, you know, the tomorrow collapse to school. Now, exams are what on Monday. Now, what difference will it make? What?
Because
Look, let's do politics. Mama, politics into the
30 seconds. But I can clarify assembly. Just 30 seconds. Why it forces share done? Whether a WAEC or Ministry of, in this case, Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, and WAEC and Association exams. Service Kwalani na MFIVA omono na CDM I was a biomedijan to a Ministry of Education and certainly become the call Nanado enim Nanado every consider say
my brother, you know Ghana.
We are veteran.
As much as what complaining, one say, oh, I'm an say we need Ghana. How the politics?
One complaining. I said that exams they need to do. You don't go and blame the government because exams they need to do. Uji this is as we on the corner Nanado enim the SDA conference. Take his matter when they call president or time where year timetable no crana. In case you do her. Into the SDA people must also accept the blame.
Our government, I was say, or politician on Ethiopia. No, it holds to me, and I have people who share the same opinion with me. Se sɛ mene ɔkasa wɔse ka ahenim ka oh, Mike and Kevin, I know we know so. Now, person down and what down on. And I didn't know. And no opinion.
Yana first.
Let's give it to him. But the method of the children, I'm saying, can young man not yet children. Say young children, some young time one can say, I didn't wear obedient a young woman to on the Mahama, first. Catch a Mahama. Don't judge your head.
Amando,
come on,
Amando.
Different from say. Oh, auntie, there one person that to many can make us a Ghana politics, man, MDC and MP, but MP keep you. No, but one of what is here. Why am from all the exams are question Saturday? Just to some young from young Chimra and no on you. What's it?
Because as I'm sure the same MPP in a train and another running a white
MPP in a truck. With the way.
Ghana Education Service is different from Ministry of Education.
It doesn't work that way. No, it works.
Ghana Constitution. Tuma, what am I? Education.
Why yet cannot sit in their office and set Ghana by set.
Utie Radio Amenado.
Ghana Education Service. Ghana Education Service.
You don't want to accept me than you. You don't accept. You don't accept responsibility. I am wrong. You
don't accept responsibility too because mono would you make the proudly shame because I do got too much. Book registration. Okay, look at the registration to me also about
are you the spokesperson for the issue? You see, that's my whole problem with you. And before Mahama, man, and take Mahama or walk out Maria Timomo. Amanda, no, Mujimi been a seven Mujimi organ. Must say, the NTP is in very the issue. That's what NTP are talking. Say, I wouldn't shame. As I was in the Catagana for say, yeah, Pamucho. They wouldn't now. Yeah, the Guru Sake because. Yeah, Pamucho, more fireball say because we are the Guru Keke.
Most education, 20 years time.
Which will be the one said, they say that's a Ubo to
yo, Nana, Mama, you're running show. Ghana money will lie. Ghana money. Where? Okay. Amando. 2 minutes, na first mine.
Amando, until Ghana, you better say you should buy. Say, oh, you want to know what down fear, dear? You fear the enemy. What the whole community here? Who should fear the whole? Let's say NDC until what's 1 minute, 1 minute, me say NDC 2021 the don't have power near back. We are going to make sure every penny I'm not dealing. Every penny. You move accountable for every penny. That's why you wish penny I touch at home. Me say, how did you wish penny now want to you touch at home? We will come after you like a kite. The best is to be a one.
T keke no HT 1.2 billion.
1.7. The one that is not a who. Can you can I need to see who you? We are coming and we will be ready. We will face you.
What's wrong with you people? Now, registration at Ghana Bobutu. Ghana Modia.
Former president Ghana, a corrupt clearing agent for Ghana. Mike, I tell you, information in Abra. Now, what the time?
I said, don't get here to court. Court I did Asema or no anything. No, I be denying
former president,
Mr. Ofosuhene, extra the documents I mentioned there about not the real so kind. And what kind? Nobody, what you want, some information say, make a kind. Mr. Question, who's the effort Yawa? No, what's
problem? I have problem.
Mike, what's the because when you say a wall,
oh, maintenance
election 2020, hands down, first round. We are going to win it.
When you know,
I'm telling you,
comfortable lead. Yeah, Amando, I'm saying, why we name Kwani? Why name Kwano?
Mami ka semi trouble.
Mo 16 I bet 2 so aba. That's really 500.
I don't know where minimum come on no. God say close to during the registration minimum come on yet. No we are back who lucky way. Sada we are no minimum so cost ya. Mo ye. Ya say abo control so we no wo ni so de no chitie no. O na we dey no. Aba kwat ya mo.
Yo, Amando, I better was.
And I'm telling you, NDC is coming back to power again, and the people say, hey, chop on top, hey, chop on top, yes, chop on top.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, chop on top.
The man, I'm wanting to if you don't form
Amando, yeah, that's it.
So the young boy and son, so it's okay.
Yo, you must be part of Yambrano. Yambrano, why?
I put the commander for them, one of one, 2016. And so a buyer, which you win Nama, and people, which you win Nama.
Amando, thank you. All right, that's it. It'll be us. I'm in for Ghana money. Ghana money. Ghana money.
Yes, sir.
Ghana money take over the uncle.
Yo, me that's it. I mean, chat here, a tear for me after for you.
A tear for you, so many.
I didn't tell me the call. And so my team from Japan, the city partner, it is on this MPT.
Yeah.
Party be any Ghana, wow, but
yeah.
And necessary party Ghana and
any MVP.
Barabu Konatum,
Ghana money. What Ghana money?
Ukatabi.
There be let me be some question.
Come on, I mean, Katabi now question what is that?
But it's off. We are the we are one baby.
Mike.
Yes, Minia.
The question is come on more issue now. I and for any SDA for Ghana in for a dozen.
SDA for. Hey,
Debbie,
for. Hey, Zongo for
Friday, and you saw here Ghana.
Yeah. And so I Ghana money.
Yes.
Ghana money.
Oh no.
Ghana money.
Yeah, true.
Near Wokai, missing Gramo 4 times the 2 hour yet, Trivia, and so not the transfer.
No, exactly. What is here? I'm going to oh, yeah, not sorry, we are not one ball, or ball, we are not the SO, but you're not very nice. I saw you.
Missing Coma, idea for over time, Saturday, who power from her own.
Not to say no, I'm not a woman. You need no more time. I'm the president, did not know Qatar. So China, but the whole world, and Yemen in Africa. They, you busy when you do say, the bed now promo will be the idea way about the penny out in them. Can you go to a boy who has a Panoyare? Not doing it more. So I will a boy bringing up with a picture baby, because we have some. What then? Oh, I'm not a woman, papa. And no singer will be I just don't say the bear, you bet me solve that problem with. Tell me, I cost for mamma, when you create in America, anybody who you come Ghana, they say 3 years. Because she said a coverage, you know, or more home, or a dosupa. It is a walk for school and Jamie and start, not the coupe, yes, a bra. Now,
be so he na fa wi school homeda nyago bo ne bo ma nyago bo ma nje ni pesi no bo homeda o so tie yesu se mo kan ya e fa homeda ho a homeda no nipa le di homeda so ne homeda ne di nipa so.
Yes, you are right.
Talk to you. And this homeda na ko wako chon so nipa thousands as the for thousands of more and they don't better tell me and better omo aso anim na me say zali bali na
ta
ati me say the media the ni kwala no ni the and the ase bi enim minimum the margin business ase enim if there no smart no enya dia ya kan ye share ho Ghana o de bia nipa no e be say no smart no de akoba bi ana say obe covid mbae no na eti en control so head da bia ya ense say we so bi kwaso re ya ana so na ndi me da na ye to no gd4 no ai o ti ma sore no omo na me da no omko ai sorry na ya ulum da sorry na ya
Wanamo.
But the woman that made that for us all.
Gidi Coco.
Yeah,
Gidi Coco, Gidi to Nina.
Yeah.
Only made that for. The job of them is how Omono, Omako, Abiago, so Henry.
As the phone credit Troy, as the phone be Troy. It's a name.
Me and Sapa Alantro, me and Colombians.
You're investing in an SDF being through exams on Saturday, being so cultural, but the minimum say almost one try your quarantine 6 o'clock bar, no much exams.
It's Sabrina Wokan. Next period with you. That period way no. So question where you want to every day hoko. Obey the whole that you're quarantine. Or no west and we a bill every young one or open time or you know for the
Ghana body fan tara ka record o mu so man we ya bo no bia obi body para ko mo I back for fucking chaos crowd because I don't think it's for para ko bo yes what you say and but the chaos about for friends to be brava that is what they said no
what try can what questions never before
exactly no I said come
and you know
I was me that so bit to oppose on that.
Yes, I was I do make a crabby. Na utamwasuna wa yiwa atronze no wi school a. That's what you want to go here. Me hu ntia se wo sa di we mu.
Na ya o mutu kwan, memenda ya o mutu kwan.
Memeda o mutu kwan.
O mutu kwan.
Mutu kwan.
The Jesus catch on so to mutu kwan.
Me see am go over time.
Almost the Bible na say.
Omo bo overtime no we. Odabi aye no omo kono Ghana money. Omo kono after 6 na su ayi.
Minim bi no omo kono aye time na no kono after 6. No mean
Bible say Jesus say emra no wo ye manimpa.
I know this is what I did what made so. I'm letting some like I mean, so who didn't have over to me, property.
Ghana body, yet no get to be this, yet now get. I don't think so. I don't know.
Mama and Tiomase, because only a minority. Yeah, Ghana, Yakosi Cathedral, am I? And I send a Quakubrun, some to be on Cathedral. I was a Quasi a Bima Quakubrun.
I don't know somebody.
Almost secondary schools are SD is for secondary schools, hospitals, Numa Bibre or Ghana, our Mabua Ghana. Into say, I don't know when I'm Kakrabia Bawa, Mommy accommodate to them. How much will it cost us to have that election, that exams on a different day? I mean,
we are not in normal time. Normal culture trouble.
Any normal time. The old devil can't know. I can't feel it. I'm move and so and quite in. You need regular time. They say nobody on the proposal by any answer.
There be na me na Mrs. Susan come be fa SD phone ni na de o mako baby one school bi. Na nka Many only Pakwan, of course, or the exams, and I find I know say difficult times, Moody. By whoever, because NDC for any Papa Pau. Over here, no, forget about them.
Yes, you're a Ghana fool. Channel and Mupoga Chabaye. A Ghana fool, you're Papa.
Oh, no, Papa, we are wicked, we are evil.
Baba Mando, oh, I wake up on it.
Never Christian in the Pentecost.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Baba Mando, Pentecost.
I didn't know. Baba Mando, now, sorry. What's that big deal?
The best church in Ghana.
Baba Mando, no one
church be our best.
More Kasai, sir. President Kuboni in Kobo Mandicano, Omuba power 8 years. More President Kubani Ghana go back. And why I say, and what 4 weeks, and why I say. Move dear, could you 8 years? Yeah, who you MPP Bangla to prison. And so President Kubani to Modicampa or buy the book and this book for prison. Okay. And you know, me who I could hear before, and no Mudiska, and no Muyate, and no Pope Church throw there, but the power. Most are the 1 10 million, I call them more than the betray Ghana for you. Ghana for you to go there, if you could have moved you, and I do. Papa, Ghana went to me in Finland. Yet, Ghana, the end is for who built that. Obviously, is it one night? Say, yet, this year elections are a 2 year registration. Yen San is it almost perhaps and Yano or Johnny? Would you not take a advantage of what before? What was there about your Jedi? Nobody. No way I find anybody. Mike, cannot for the material.
And I say, Ghana, yo, Joe Weiss. Fire point. Wrap up, my.
Mama,
because walk down. And then Mr. Mama Auntie Christine Casamba and I mean him say, Wada, so also. About soon temper and I'm castle with free.
Yo, me dance it. Only what you're doing. No one at your farm, we any dream farm or mine. I dear Bakwa, somewhere almost for a bike a cobain. Say, Anquarano, as one who say Omodati, and Omodiagro, Omodu Omo Papa Motia, Omo Papa Mana, a two a broth room between. So I'm control. So I say, you know, the do parents, you know, that's the woman can at the home.
If I told you to my wife,
but I'll say,
I'll be actually dead when I'm somewhere.
Obi who chance you was ahead. I'm under one.
Oh, Daddy. You need to sit down in the office and patch on.
Next one would be a bad wow and normal or yen. And if a sad question, and I feel so almost free education adeɛ bi a ɛyɛ free no ɛnyɛ na mepaakyɛw nɔɔfo hɔ no a first no na wɔn ntua school fees no ebi ayɛ doctors ne engineers ne nneɛma akɛseɛ no ɛne wɔn position na wɔn nyinyaeɛ no ɛne wɔn nyi wɔn medals nyinaa ntum na wɔn kɔtena akuraase because wɔn sɛ ɛnyɛ papa wɔn si free adeɛ bi a ɛyɛ free ɛnyɛ adeɛ bi a ɛyɛ free nyɛ so nɔɔfo hɔ no wɔn ntua school fees da ɛbɛyɛ nipa akɛseɛ ɛde bu ebu ayi asantefoɔ ayi mpɛsɛ nkwadaa ase wɔ ɛnu ɛma asantefoɔ deɛ wɔn anyɛ free ni bi saa nso wɔ ɛnum nyinaa no ɛnso nipa ni nti no nanado deɛ n'okwasɛm adwempa na ɛwɔ ne tirim nti wɔn yɛ adwene sɛ wɔn de aborɔ bɔne bɛhyɛ wɔn mma ne tirim sɛ wɔn fa ɛma papa no nyɛ stress a wɔnyɛ stress ɔno deɛ wɔdwene ne ho nea ɔpɛ sɛ ɛbɛboa wɔn no ɛna wɔn ayɛ nti sɛ wɔn nso wɔn ɛnyɛ a ne deɛ wɔn pɛ no wɔn ankasa ntɛte wɔn decision na wɔn ankasa nyɛ wɔn asomdwe na ɔkyerɛ no ankɔyɛ yie a wɔn nkase nanado na yɛyɛ nanado deɛ sɛ akwaraa baako koraa pɛ sɛ kɔtena ɛhɔ kɔyɛ exams na wɔn mma kwan na wɔn nkɔyɛ exams no na munya wɔn a sɛ wɔn deɛ wɔn nyɛ no munya wɔn na ebi a wɔn koraa ehia nkorɔfoɔ akɔyɛ farm na ebi a na wɔn deɛ school no wɔn nkɔ yɛn kyerɛ wɔn farm kwan na wɔn nkɔdɔ na aduane mmerɛ wɔn anim ano atɔ.
yɛda se yɛ maame Christy ɛne yɛte ne ka ɔde firi Chicago mama Christy yɛda se papaapa anwummerɛ yo Joyce akoda Ofosuhene
old back na no edit na be say warehouse it is na I said I don't know
mete for club
ya can start this some for back where do so
Amando ana no edit no
that they name how the back the office I will be entry for cliff to one office
Amando
yes ma office I have to start with deputy for cliff
yeah Uncle Mike
me
Dr. Kennedy Bayer no church asemi
yeah
when we say NDC for Babeka says okoye nanado ejai COVID patient because nanado omo ye test ni wi ana omo call hospital na say obi tukwan obi du Ghana na ye omo test wi a yensan nye omo test ni diem nti nanado say ejai NDC for say ejai COVID patient meanwhile so na omo nim that information with you. I just said, like I was saying, yeah, Juma will say, you better test. Before I better test, nobody can catch and say, some way testing now, well, be nebino. Ukofia, Obekofi 10 days. After 10 days, no better Juma, almost sign your testing. And it be sad, then I'm said WHO, CDC, Akase, Ubinya Arena, after 3 days, so one show symptoms now, whatever now, within the 6 days, is declared free. We hear the second test. Now, sign it back on us, only means sign file, sign will be. Until after 10 days, and so coffee, now we are while with me a beshi. Until almost after 10 days, almost signed by Ubia Wejum, no, Ubia any. Now, this goes to reinforce that the scientific data, not MPP, led by Nanado, no OUSU, and Ghana, they were way much ahead of even in USA. Yes, some will be a friend of pool testing, no, because they say, oh, yeah, test, now me a me test, you be antibiotic test, you be Ubia test, now your test kit and also and also Nintino. Your chin in sample now, near campo, near your test in the back. Into your test in the back, so be a nidia, I'm sure. Now you declaring free. To a show more anafi being individual test. Nay, who say a be a winner will be an winning into where Temwa a Yaril Baffle from MPP by Amukasi or my 60,000 tests. And this is for the within 1 month test no you see it me it's 3 in a day. And then I'm to multiply and not just more than 5 times whatever in a day. No one name say a binocular starts to be a friend of pool testing. Yet will be a sample now. Near yet testing. Yenas will be near declare winning free with just one kid. I've seen the US at just that testing system at 2. This year US year pool testing. Ghana started into be actually say Ghana schools almost be that. And Kofa here, I want to say, you're leaving Ghana for a school. And Kofa here, I want to say, a disease, no, Oman. And I've in the US thinking about how to even to be open a school. It tells you that the scientific data back in Amenado.
Do as about home. Ghana school maybe.
I said second GSS for na cultural and ISS for no cultural.
I am almost three. Go track for the one track for the
no, not the whole school. No, I'm talking about a way. But the fact say, third year for no create me a con. Na yet me a steady base of the disease. No, you bet me going forward. No, I'll roll it out. I'm the other students. No, so I call very soon. I think the US class struggle about whether to open or not to open. That is what is called leadership. Into her Oko boy any Nanado any penny for the COVID management team one. Oma bomb who more than papa. Churches ye be mu afi churches omtimeko ye be mu kakra drivers for CCR drivers omo full passenger. How many of the disease now found by the count?
Yeah.
And I did when you know, this is for Besum. Hey,
Busa say how many people are tested and son what Busa I would specific patrol. So
how many people are doing what?
Tested, are getting tested.
Yeah, over one and Auntie Abba Bisa question, Auntie Abba Bisa question, which is very fantastic. Any panel ho, train ye no, ne tono on am the baby. A dainty no was any panocoya test. Knowing very well says so your test no crying.
One years so a holiday are the best spread the Ghana
because any pan so say no the scientific data and says any pan namho na set ne ho nye ne hwe ya e kire say we asymptomatic into ontimi fire ne ensign will be. Since yare we ne nyama adwen o scientific data.
But yare kroya so no e ho some say yare we dey be say on the pattern ne say ebi ni sɛ wosɛ start here no time a yare ba foforɔ na
Egina president former president nnam hɔ yɛ kasa
yɛnka sɛsi a wahu sɛ moyɛ ama yɛada ne papa yi submission papa yi kama enti no mede biribi sɔ so wode kɔfa mahama yɛ wo dɛn with or without Mahama,
Amano, you are dead.
You are dead. You move your arm.
As it says, come on, call out
Ghana. Sorry, no, why not, Papa? No, I mean, enemy, my who's
Papa,
yeah, instead of Georgia. Papa no, Papa no,
yeah. Ofosuhene, fast school almost so baby no ho. Ghana so when you know could be school to see ya.
Hey, what I say we no come baby. Yeah, so you be school, you better try na na don't be the president.
What are they doing here?
And some of the this for CNB, and this is for the CNB border.
Yare na se new Ghana. Asmo ke ase de yare new Ghana. Yare du Ghana ma man for you be CNB border.
No over school the back government is on to the work because here in the state of Georgia, over here somewhere those According to conservative face of school, there are 1,000+ students plus teachers. According to that's proper, you know. So we don't. As I'm now in the
America,
Ghana.
What did the US do? Ghana team yes, I do. The virtual and I cost what it is. Ghana needs our resources with my and that's
Ghana's situation is different.
Exactly.
It's enough. Schools to be
and what is about Kukra Enya?
Who's that? How did it say? And it's hard to control them when someone when the match about the club where I
the best president Ghana has ever had. The best president Ghana in nothing. Mahama.
Oh, the shameless president. We're going to and the president was the Papa.
Community husband.
Instead of your community husband. Community husband.
Okay.
Because it is the zebra pop up. You know, some do that pop up.
Ghana Pana, a Papa Noitimia. I mean,
do I? I mean, the Ghana company for the men, you'll be a free. I'm telling you.
No, but in Ghana, the baby will have a candidate, but it looks like all the media houses, everyone is saying Papano, but nobody is able to mention the Papani name.
The community office of Ladina Mahama, the letter about the
God is saying, money to come out and get it. Damn, without fathers. What you mean, Papa? You have your mom. Well, I'm not going to for me.
And man should be also. What the message?
Papa, and I mean, more Papa need won't have it is their right to know their fathers.
Mike, what
Mahama, I guess you now, you know, be any Papa.
Mahama Kwana Epe.
Mahama Kwana, former president, Papa. No, Papa.
Amando, whatever. What president in the running?
That's what Mike said.
No running mate. Obi akọ to be baba. As some can say so for more. Now president, I didn't running mate to go patch out. No ba.
Mr. Momiampo, Yamra Naso.
Right. Mami ya kakaka. Ni a refu oba, mami ya
Baba yo.
Yo, yada mwase. Ofosuhene, mo ma fancy ya. Ya da munyi na asi nyame ya aduma ochina. For no simai.
Asuma me can say.
Na no si amesoma no bi.
Oh, Amondo. Na waka me ba. Me say,
me ka na so no si amesoma no.
Muradi me na me na joko kwa jima. Ya repu oba, obi baba. Ya osofo bi repu no. Na ma mi mua a je ka obadaye, oba time, oba. No two compact also in America. And Fagrano, former president, will be such a criminal eater, will be a repub. Instead, some of it, Miami, a red good back.
Yeah, discipline, no.
Or some one as a
pious. When you get a honorable pious, or that's what takes like staff as only my definition.
I don't.
Ọmọ kọ Australia scandal.
Oh, my friend, think something on Jamaica was a rape as well as Australia.
Assembly chatting.
Assembly rape as America. So many rape as America in America. I'm not saying America rape as America. Never go for Nigeria. I want to also call Nigeria. Nigeria is also is a surrender and sent on Mama Baby. Nigeria is a criminal, it's a rapist. And what's a way Nigeria? No, 30%. Your mama did say also obey election, you know. Just a criminal rapist like that. Your mama did
Ghana, the customer, the MPP for Munjin to say Yafum. Finally, your money call, your money
all right. Ofosuhene. About you, so we.
Mike,
Ebedo bia si anumre. Mo amuti mo fidie to.
Nya o kana ni
Eno mo amuntimi. Ena na tiefo nyina. We wish you all the best. O tren yame adom e be say achi.
Amando.
All right. That's right. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for listening to Amenado Radio. Tomorrow by this time, we will be here. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. Denver. That will be 6 p.m. Chicago. And at 7 p.m. New York. We will be here live. We will bring you the updates. I remember what you said, sir, radio we, yeah, would say, I was so 24/7, never goes off. See, any so life for Krana BB Kosso, something extraordinary will be going on here. So don't forget to tune in anytime, anyhow, anywhere, wherever that you are. Stay tuned for 24/7. All right. This is from Nana Champo. Bedenayoya. Musuna Nana no more. Hey. All right. Saboro. Saboro. Hey, hey. Asida sukun komamo. Konongo kaya nyumre mantu. All right. All right. All right. Four more. For Nana. That's right.
me don't know I'm mommy no way nanke bede na yo ya usu kurana me don't know more obi do bi obi ntiasia me se be ma bo ya na me ba woni binti na yende odo enim sika me chema chance ya mama na so monyo no mama na so ju na no amare won so atonu e fa ne nya twa pia tra ubie enira no pe wiane enumiro na die desi woni bi bewa bo miss me ni bewa nanke bede na yo ya owo yin champo wana me dono eti no bia be kan bi aminti yo ayon boy ya bana be oni e wona mamia miss me wona me dendo na won so si me ni dai rinya na ko wi e bia ba be ya ba nanke bede na yo ya nanke bede na yo ya ukaye de won se mo wana me dono mo Korano na me dono mo nanke bede na yo ya yeah hey oh hey oh hey oh hey nana me tuma mi yo nyami amawai Mensiana Lebia, and Chagina made it you. 2 times in 1 time before. Put to me 3 hours saying what for a if he said, you me a sure on now, what you run away. Or town for me saying no, and saying, yeah, what baby. Echo being Kuana and Cameru, Echo being Kuana and Kamasay, Nanke bed and Ayoya, Usukramia, me pro.
All right. That's right. Enough. Now wish you good night. Me a mini opinion. Mr. Ernest Treme. UK now. And you're ready. And Chiankoma near Bushafo. And Chiankoma, Mr. Archie. Na Ebinto. John Richard. Also, Tiana, you may UK. After this song, you will enjoy the best jazz, the best jazz music that will make you relax and have a very good sleep, whatever it is. So stay tuned right there. Don't go nowhere. We have a good and wonderful jazz coming up on your way. Don't touch that dial. Don't touch your dial. Let it stay. Good night, America. Good morning, UK. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, everywhere. Thank you once again. We'll be here tomorrow, right after the boiling point. Don't miss out. Ofosuhene woye. Nakware. Very good jazz and lovely music. It's on the way. Stay tuned right there. God's willing, we'll meet one more time right here in Denver on Amenado Radio.